Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome to Rocket Kingdom TV. I'm Gavastum, joining him by Aferia, and we're bringing you something really, really cool. The ERC qualifiers. We want 2 teams by the end of the night that can now move into the ERC. We are, of course, being helped by Rocket Benelux on the Dutch stream, and we are here providing the English coverage of it as well. And Aferia, how are you feeling today? And welcome.
I'm feeling excited for this, and just in general, I've had a great day here. I'm excited for it, ready to get it going, and this is about the highest level that you can get in the Netherlands. Obviously, it is a union league, so you can't really perfectly make it, but still, the level is insanely high.
Yes, after grueling weeks in I believe the NBSE, we have had, that is the university league here for the Netherlands. We had 8 teams fighting for the top 4 spots to have a chance to go through this gauntlet, and we'll go through that, of course, in a little bit. But the 4 teams that didn't make it were Northern Lions, Tilburg United, Dorens Nijmegen, and Zephyr Fenrir. Of course, there's 4 teams that did make it. The first 2 that we'll be seeing are Twente Blue and Erasmus. Booty slappers. Of course, we're probably just going to be calling them Erasmus because we don't want to sign 12. On the other hand, who doesn't love signing 12?
Oh, yeah. That's just funny numbers like 69, 420. They're all amazingly funny. And obviously, this being a league play, the first 2 teams that will be coming up, they have played against each other before, but it's gone 1-1. They've both won a game, and obviously with that instantly meaning that they both lost a game against each other as well. But Erasmus is a little bit of a weird one. On paper, they are all they are all top notch, but then in the game they don't really manage to get things going and get beat by teams who are on paper worse than them, which is weird, and they're gonna have to fight against that today as well, because Onko, he's been popping up in the bubble scene in the EU quite a bit, and on the side of Twente Blue, we've got T1 Shot who's really up there, but apart from that, none of the players are really in that bubble scene. Forza, the baseball.
No, I mean we can at least give good old Coxion a shout out. He's one of the casters I've worked with here on, or at least on the Rocket Benelux side. He's also been a coach for a lot of very good players, and he is now here finally wanting to try to prove himself as a player more so than anything. And he's been grinding as well. I don't think like they're bubble scene ready yet. And of course, you're running with a university team, so it's just lucky enough that you have 3 players that can play well together, have a high enough skill level to compete here, because these two teams are still like they're top middle of the pack here. They weren't teams that blew anyone's socks off, but they weren't teams that were slouches and were easy to roll over. For me, it still feels like there is a big advantage here being 1 step up. Of course, in the standing doesn't matter too much just yet, but overall it's going to be a real flustercluck to see who actually takes this, who actually wins this, because that means you get to move on. So it's not just about this first game, it's also about the stamina to be prepared for the next game. And what do you think? Is one of the teams going to test the other enough to make sure that they're too exhausted, even if a team wins, to move on and get qualified after that?
Yeah, it's a best of 7, so there's more than enough time for these teams to kind of gauge each other, see what they're playing at. But at some point, you're gonna have to start moving. You're gonna have to start figuring things out. And I think Coxion for sure will go for a lot of demos, and it's going to be interesting to see whether he out-positions himself or kind of messes himself up with that positioning, or whether he's actually going to create opportunities. So I think Coxion, and I noticed that I say this about him pretty much every single time, but he's going to be the man that makes a difference.
Yeah, he's usually one of those players, because he also has experience as a coach. You have a bit of a different view of how the game works. It's on that side very much. It's T1 Shot being very fancy. He's always been very vocal, very up there. It's been a kind of play where that player can pop off, but he needs good support, and someone like Coxion can give us that support to make sure that we get into the right chances and the right opportunities for them. Now, either one of these teams, I'm still not sure who's going to take this because of the 1-1. This is probably going to be a very interesting match, but it's not. It's the pre-show. This is a pre-show match. This is a match where all of us would love to see everything rock off, but we're never completely sure. We see the players now finally getting onto the field. I hope my co-caster is in the booth with me here. Yeah, you found the right door.
Yes,
Lovely
sir.
to have you here. So let's kick it off. Erasmus versus Twente Blue, with Erasmus getting a first good chance with a block from Force.
Yeah, Rasmus, they're now on the defense, but it's Max who gets through the side. Maxio and Max, or in Max's backpack rather. They're missing each other up a little bit. And unfortunately, T1 show they're trying to make something happen, but it doesn't really get to anything. And it's Twente Blue trying desperately to make something happen, but Cookson just gives the ball away to Maxio. Maxio's a great opportunity. 1v1 goes for the air, but bum. T1 show gets the save because the bump was not good enough.
Yeah, the bump didn't really go well, but you can only see kind of a style that's going to happen. Force on Twente Blue wants to be that defensive player, Coxion a bit of that supportive player, and T1 Shot being the aggressive one on the other side. Of course, when you are in Max's backpack, you can expect Maxio to be the one that's going to carry. Cal, of course, a very talented player in its own right, but Max, I mean, that's the wrong goal, mate. Max, wrong way.
Oh no, oh no, a terrible start. Obviously it counts for the same amount of goals for sure. And Twente Blue, they put themselves up 1-0 with 4 minutes left to go, so more than enough time to make the comeback as well. But this is what I mean. On paper, Erasmus should be the better team, but they're just struggling so much against opponents who, well, in theory would be worse than them. Now Cooksion trying to get that one clear. Cal waiting in the midfield, but Cooksion just clears that one out to the side. And now they're on defense once again. Erasmus, they're not really getting anything going.
No, Erasmus want to push up, but they can't really find the right connections. The shots in front of the net are very easily dealt with because of the defensive positioning. Forza here, of course, being the one that needs to defend this now. Cal pops that up. Could be a good pass, can still come down. Maxio looking to make it right, and Cal gets it to the side and pops it in. That's a defensive blunder for Twente, if I've ever seen one.
Yep. Well, blunders on both sides now. And they're going to have to figure that one out. Well, it is a best of 7, so they do have more than enough time to actually figure this one out. That should all work out for them. But yeah, it's going to be tough.
I mean, the biggest thing I always say, and this is for best of 7s, is the first pancake is for the children. Every time you make pancakes, the first one, not going to be that great. It's a very Dutchism saying, so we're going to put some Dutch in here for you guys to make you feel a bit of the culture with it. But the first one's for the children. The rest of them are usually better, and that's true in the best of 7. The first game can be kind of messy, both teams feeling each other out, trying to figure that out. Cal trying to get another goal on the board, but Erasmus finally pushing up a little bit more and getting chances for it.
Yeah, for sure. And Twente Blue, though they got a great opportunity. Actually, no, that was Erasmus. The white side, Erasmus, obviously, they are struggling at times. They're trying to get something going. Well, it's 2.5 minutes in, and it's still equalized.
Yeah, still no third goal, but that means we're having a very close game. It's still defensive positioning here for Twente Blue. I don't really like that they're not pushing a man up. They're pushing the ball away and then just giving possession away. It's not going to help a lot, but Erasmus also playing the same kind of like bit more careful style of play, and this could mean that neither team could be looking for a goal anytime soon, and it's just going to be a very awkward pop-off that could really create chances for now.
Yeah, you need someone to pop off on your team. You need someone to take his team on his back and kind of say, look, we're getting this. And currently neither team really have someone showing up. Well, maybe they create an opportunity here, not quite yet. But it's going to be close. It's going to be a toe-to-toe match.
Yes, it is. But Maxio now has to play that ball away, trying to follow it up pretty well as well. Cooksion, good beat. This is a kind of supportive play, but the ball rolls into Max's backpack, and the backpack takes control. Block, not good either. Cal, looking for it. Pal pops it back, but T1 shots there. It's in midfield, controlled by Max's backpack. Cal with a fake. Doesn't get it anywhere near. T1 shot has a chance, but squanders it on the post. That's a very close call.
getting closer and closer. Well, you still need to have that one good opportunity that actually goes through, and it might be here, and looking like it is.
Yeah, here it is. It comes popping in and it drops in the goal. It's like my co-caster can see the future. It's amazing. He is just that skilled. Forza with an awkward touch on the backboard, not able to clear it.
Now, Erasmus, they're 1 goal up and trying to make that stay the same because, well, they've got the lead now. They just need to be able to keep that lead going and keep it for those last 40 seconds. Getting the first game, even though it is for the children, it still counts for a pancake, and they need to keep that lead.
Yeah, that checks out, definitely. Forza now wants to get the lead back. Almost gets it past Maxio, who gets a good touch on it. Cux with a shot is a bit wide, and sometimes that inexperience, that more on the sideline coaching style, that these kind of shots, they count. They should go in. He's probably telling his players that, but now he needs to do it himself as well. Oh, coming in again. Cux, good block. Looking to move in further. Now the fake. Cux trying to take it slow. Has some time. Squanders the chance, but still a good one there. T1 shot with the shot. Cal the one to block it. The last seconds are coming in. Popping it up once again. Cuxion gets beat out by Cal. Cal now moving up forward. The ball bounces. T1 shot keeps it up. And there's Max's backpack. Hitting it far away. If they can juggle this one, it'll be a good one. But we're not completely sure. Cuxion, though, still trying it, but Cal able to destroy that one away. Ooh, the bump demo works well. Erasmus Esports takes the first one.
Yep, after a very tough match, after a very hard fought battle, they finally managed to get something going and show that on paper they are better and actually show it on the field as well. Good stuff coming out from them. It was about time, and, well, that is exactly what's needed.
That's that's definitely exactly what is needed for this. It seems to be that it's more on Twente Blue not really adding up, not really moving forward in that way, and making sure that they can they can follow up on their own touches. They play the ball away pretty well, but after that, there's just no one moving up with them. There's always a little bit of a problem. There's always a little bit of a moment where it just doesn't seem to add up for them. And Erasmus is taking advantage by just better shot selection and better shots overall.
Yeah, you gotta get those shots in before you can actually make use of them. But it does seem the way that they continuously are in the opposing half, and with that, are not really able to convert that into a goal and are failing to get something going.
Yeah, it's and sorry everyone if we seem a bit delayed or things are not going completely smooth. We're of course trying to work on it as best we can while we're trying to get this fixed. It's a bit of a new system, new partners of course, and we want to make it look the best, but it doesn't always go according to plan exactly. We're now trying to fix that, but we're back into game 2, so let's just keep on going with more Rocket League. The kickoff going pretty much in favor of Erasmus, so they want to keep that domination going on.
And it does seem like we're a little bit delayed here. We're going to get that fixed as soon as possible. Well, yeah, we'll just talk about the game a little bit more so it doesn't really seem that completely awkward and weird. Erasmus, they really need to get more stuff going, and, well, they seem to be able to, and they're also getting a shot. It's just so scary.
It is still so scary. T1 shot now wants to keep a bit of control. Does not get the ball there. The demo is good as well on him. Forza has some control. Tries to move it forward. Of course, we are looking at the game a little bit later than all of you guys. So now, as you can see it, there's still a good bunch of chances here. I like the way Twente Blue is now trying to play a little bit more aggressive, trying to not stopping to feel out their opponents, but trying to take more control. It's just not looking like it's good enough yet because Erasmus playing on a whole different level.
And playing on a whole different level indeed, but the score still remains the same. And this one might drop in, oh my word, the save does get made. And that's T1 shot trying to go off the sidewall. Cal with a clear out to the outside and force it into the center. Cookson, can he go for the shot? It's going to be off the backboard. He's not really sitting in Max's backpack anymore, because he's getting that one clear, but not good enough. It's Force who can pick that one up relatively easily.
I like the chance there from Cux, but he didn't get the shot on net anywhere threatening, and there were still 2 defenders left. You need to look for a little bit more passes, take that control, and work your opponents away. That's the way you get it. 2 opponents away, and that's a very good open goal, but they are not able to finish it just yet as Forza plays it away.
And now Forza, once again, it's Twente Blue in the attack. Well, they don't really manage to get anything going once again, and that seems to be the name of the game. They get into the opposing half and then not really able to further that offense, further that attack. Oh, actually, this is incredibly awkward. I don't know how this bounced off the backboard here. Well, sure, we'll take it. Cal now on the other end, trying to get that one. It goes across the center, and apart from that, does not get anything out of it. Well, maybe something here. It's a 50. Actually, the only thing that's going to come out of that is T1 shot going on the counter. 70 boost in attack, going off the ceiling, trying to give Rip a shot. But also that is slightly off. And I am trying to find Gavastian once again, but for now,
Hello.
He's just...
I disappeared off the face of the planet for half a second, but I am back now. The pass to Cal. That's not where you want that ball to go, and the goal goes in.
Yep, Cal just has an open net. He will finish that like his dinner and like his breakfast every single day. And Erasmus, they're now 1 goal up, 1 game up as well. With a Spanish kickoff, and Cal maybe he gets another open goal. Get spawned in time. As Max showed down to the side, 13 boosts. He won't be able to get that one into the back of the net, but maybe his team can continue this pressure, can continue this offense. And they're sitting both at the midfield, trying to keep this ball in. As long as they're sitting at the midfield, well, it's going to be Twente Blue running out of boost very slowly. But with those double commits, that's going to allow Twente Blue to finally break out.
Yeah, they're trying to break out, definitely. Cux now looking for that 50. Gets a bit of help by T1 shot. Ball bouncing forward, and the backpack is waiting there, of course.
And the backpack always waiting. Cal almost gets a pre-flip into the center. And Maxio popping in. Shot coming out. Oh, it's a good save by Cuxion. There's still Erasmus. They're continuously under pressure, and they have been able to keep that going for such a prolonged amount of time. And it's honestly odd to me that they have only gotten 1 goal here. Only 1 goal out of the many attempts that they've had. Unfortunately, might be trying to go down the other end. T1 shot passes it into the mid, but there we go. That is the off position from Cuxion off of the demo, and that will be a completely open net for Cal to shoot at once again.
They're trying to throw all their eggs in one basket here, and it's kind of a one and done playstyle that Twente Blue is trying to cooperate into. 1 attack, 1 shot, 1 opportunity, and after that falling back and everything messing up a bit more. I don't think that is what's going to help them here. They need to make sure that they keep everything up. They need to keep the pressure up a lot more, because if you don't, you're not going to win. Rocket League today is won on midfield, not in a shot attempt.
Yeah, not in a shot attempt, but the final 30 seconds are in effect. And the Twente Blue, they need to get something going right away. They need to be able to get something. And it does not really seem that they will be able to, because the ball is still in the other team's possession. Erasmus, they're going to finish this one off. Beautifully.
Oh, what a pinch there. What a monster pinch to get that one pass. Beautiful play, and well done here, of course, from Max's backpack with a good pass. And yeah, if you don't challenge that quickly and just wait a little bit too long, Erasmus will crush you there.
And, well, this is not going to happen anymore. This game is completely done and over with. There's no chance of coming back from the side of Twente Blue. They fought valiantly, but finally Erasmus showing with a 3-0 win that, well, they're dominant.
They are looking very dominant, and overall the first game was very close. Ball possession was very much 50-50. It's always an interesting, the more you have ball possession, the more chances you will start creating. For now, Erasmus peaking up a little bit with that ball possession. That doesn't usually switch a lot, because there's not a lot of time for time for dribbles and actual control, so percentages don't really switch that much. But it's mostly been like very bad clears and control on the side on Twente Blue, them wanting to push up with all of them together, creating open spaces now for Erasmus just to have a quick counter attack and a quick goal, while Erasmus playing very defensive, letting just Twente Blue charge on them, and then Erasmus just sees, okay, you're all up, now we're just going to run it down the field and just hit it in real quick, and they've been able to have the skill to do that.
Yeah, for sure. And even at the times where they are on the attack, they really keep that ball into the opposing half as well. It's never really in a dangerous position. There's no way that Twente Blue is getting the same thing going that or that Erasmus has going. Those cheeky counterattacks where they all of a sudden go towards the other side and get it in, because Erasmus, they've got that midfield locked down, and we can get this one underway as well. They have started. Cuxion and Max on the kickoff.
Yeah, Cuxion on the maximum kickoff and control a little bit well, but that touch, awkward. Forza now has to play that one away slowly. It's still in front of the net. Cuxion gets that extra touch, but it's not a controlled one. T1 shot has to go for this. Cuxion now going with it. Both of them there, kind of throwing away their possession a little bit. Ball still dropping. Maxio sees a chance, flexes into midfield. No shot from Cal, but it's tough enough. What an angle. It didn't even look to go into my screen.
I'll repeat your words. No shot from Cal. Well, I guess you were wrong. I don't know how he managed to get that light of a touch to also have it go forward. That is a phenomenal hit from Cal there. And 1-0 for Erasmus very early on. That's not a good look for Twente. Maybe an even better lead early on. Maxio snipes out the same corner. And Erasmus, they are going with the tray now, and they're chewing real good.
I'm just imagining, like, in Mac's backpack going there and being like, okay, you know, I'm going to feed you this ball, and then you can score it in. It's a perfect 1-2 between the teammates here. And Cal, yeah, all you have to do at this point is just look pretty, because Max in the backpack have gotten this like Banjo-Kazooie into.
30 seconds in. That's a 2-goal lead for Erasmus. Maybe even a 3-goal lead. That seems like every time I mention the lead for Erasmus, they just want to extend that one. And now Cal is a little bit slower than Cuxion, who passes it to T1 Show, who passes it into Force, but who completely misses it. Can they get back in time on the rotation? They will be able to, because the backpack, he's taking a lot of time, and I'm pretty sure backpack is Onko. So, you know, he's in Mac's backpack, and we're going to get him out of there a little bit, I think.
I mean, at some point he might want to get out, but if Onko wants to chill, because I know he's a very good player, he loves to play with a bit of confidence, but if he just wants to say, hey, I'm going to go chill, Maxio can do this, or maybe even help Maxio a bit, feel a bit better, being like, no, you're the carry, you do your thing, and we got this, and Maxio is doing very, very well with it.
Yeah, I don't know how that challenge went. I think Cal, he got hit up into the air, and then, actually Forza would just break away here. Or not really break away, but just break through rather. This ball, Onko hits that one straight into the middle where Forza is, who throws Cal off a little bit and gets it through. Only 1-goal lead now for Rasmus.
And that's a lot better from Twente Blue, making it a bit more awkward, bounce the ball around a bit more, so the Erasmus defenders are not in the position they feel comfortable with, because then you can get it past. If they are in net with a comfortable position, you can't really get past these players. They are too good on the defensive side, so Twente needs to do something extra, and that is getting faked out, but Cux's following up perfectly well. So a 1-2 in the offense, trying to create more chances, not really working, but still like to see the team play a bit more. Good chance here for Force.
Whoa, almost a solo play. 30 boost left in the tank. Does not get it. And does not get the second hit. That's Cal on the defense, getting that one out to the side, trying to get that one further. Maxio is also up for that one. T1 showed backflips out of this challenge, and fair enough, because he was getting beaten massively. That second shot was going to be coming in. A smart decision there by Twente Blue. Now can they also go on that counter? No, because, well, guess what? Erasmus is already really far back.
Definitely. With that, Erasmus always has the better defensive position, it seems. They don't overcommit their third man like Twente Blue does, and that's something that Twente Blue, I do think, is going to have to change, because they're falling behind now in their goals every single time. This might be a good chance, though. Everybody's almost gone, and the fake could have been good, but Forza, this time this third man not overextending and looking like he can get the save.
2v1, but now a 1v1 situation on the other end. Forrester, what can he do? He waves Ash to the other side of that bulb and then got bumped up from behind. Taking a little bit too long, I should say, to get that play going. Out forced to the other side. T1 shot. He's more than enough time, but he missed the corner boost. Won't be able to go for a solo play, so just decides to hit it down the field. And Maxio, he gets beat by Force, and it is looking as if Twins and Blue, they're creating some more opportunity. They're creating some more spaces. But Cow, he's actually really far up on that shot. I don't think he had any boost to actually go for it. Otherwise, he would have been closer for sure. And now Unko with 0 boost managed to get through one. Gets shot down by T1 shot.
Yeah, T1 shot's not someone who's going to get beat on the line either, but they're just not on the line most of the time when they're just shot coming, sadly. And that's the change we want to see. Of course, good attacks, good chances coming in here. Cuxion wants to move that one further, does not get it past Maxio. The 1-2 defense still looking good for Erasmus as well.
Never mind.
Never mind.
Just don't mention it, because as soon as you mention it, it completely crumbled apart. Don't know what happened here, but T1 shot, he was just able to get the long shot in. I think the last man, I don't know who it was, it might have been Cal or Unko. He was expecting the challenge to come in, a block to come in, but instead it was a fake and a little bit of a miscommunication on the side of Erasmus. Twente Blue, they've slapped themselves back into this matchup, and now the kid needs to keep on going, but not this. Oh my word, Unko with a perfect shot.
Unko with a monster touch. Maxio, of course, helping as well, making that as awkward as possible for Cuxion and just waiting at the right position. You know that these players can do that. Unko specifically is one of those players that knows how to hunt for the right ball, and what looked like a very good chance here for Twente Blue to get back into this now looks a lot more dire. And getting 3-0 behind in the best of 7 is bad, but 4-2 with 50 seconds left, that is looking like a surefire thing here now.
Oh, it's 50 seconds, so they need to repeat what they did earlier. And then just at a little bit of a quicker pace. So Twente Blue, they're definitely not out of this just yet. They can still keep on going, keep on plowing through. If they do lose this one though, which is currently looking like is they're in a terrible position. They need to win 4 in a row against a team that's, well, kind of been dominating them, kind of been outspeeding them, outpositioning them, and they need to get an offense going very, very soon.
Yeah, and 30 seconds is where the offense now should be more pressure. This is something I wanted to see from them earlier. They're not really doing it at all, so that's why I'm giving them that low chance. And now, yeah, again, they overcommit, they overforce. A good chance here, bouncing off the backboard. And it is T1 shot able to play that one away, but Cal and Max in Max backpack. My lord, Unko really wanting to put on the show here.
It's really off-putting when you see in Max's backpack. It is so instant to just say Max. Oh, but there we go, Unko with a shot on target. And I don't know why some of these players just can't keep the same name. But hey, you know what? It doesn't really matter, because Erasmus, regarding names and whatever, they've still got the lead here, and they're now leading by 3-0. Well, Twente Blue, I'm thinking of a sweep.
Yeah, it's starting to look like that's in the cards. Thing is, with names and changing names, that's up to the tournament organizers to say that's not allowed. You're not allowed to change your name. You're not allowed to change names, and very quickly say if you do that, you will be disqualified or will be losing a match. Done. That's an easy way to fix that. I mean, maybe for next time, like, we could get that done. Be a good deal. But overall, punishment. It's harsh, but it's fair. Erasmus now just completely in the driver's seat for this entire thing. They're running through this. They're not done after this, but if they can get through this one quickly, that always feels very nice, because they have another game they need to play before they can move on. They are going against Fair Play Mojitos after this, and that's an even a harder team to play against. So if they want to get there, they're not there yet. There's still one more game they need to win. There's still one more step they need to do. That's when they can move on and look for the next opponent. So let's see if they can hit it out in a sweep, or if Twente Blue can make a miracle run now, because this is as far down as you can be without being out. So let's see if Twente Blue can do this, or if Erasmus is going to take it and crush.
Ooh, and they're starting to switch it up already off of kickoff, trying to go for a fake one before missing the aerial touch. That's not really going to be beneficial for the aerial or for the fake kickoff. Cal trying to get that flip reset going. Unco tries to go for a short, easy save by Forge. All he had to do was jump in front of it, and that's a one-shot 50 boost left in the tank. Might just be able to go for a solo play. Flip reset over. That's going to be off the crossbar. Is there somebody else for that? It's Unco who saves the shot from Coxion. Now Coxion, the man who demos everyone, gets demoed himself in T1 shot. He's just, honestly, one of the best players on T1 shot, or on 20
yes.
Blue, obviously. Also on T1 shot for sure.
On T1 shot team, T1 shot best player. That is confirmed.
Yes.
He is the player that I'm looking to make waves here, to do the fancy things that needs to be done. But it's up to the other two players to make sure that he can do that. He has the space for it. And for now, every time T1 Shot tries something fancy, both other players feel that as a chance to move up and they leave their goal exposed. This could keep happening again and again. But now Forza having a decent chance here. Still awkward position. Tries to play it off in the midfield. The touch is there, but Cal's there to save it. And T1 Shot now trying to keep up their pressure with some fancy footwork. Not able to do it. And Maxio and Cal play it away.
And they've managed to keep this 0 scoreline on the side of 20 Blue, which is incredibly important for them to actually get some confidence, get some opportunities, because they are three goals down, sometimes lost due to an early goal happening, especially in the last one. There were 2 early goals. And if they just didn't happen, then, well, it would have been a tied score. And well, it's easy to say that, and it makes a lot of sense. So Cookstool, that's the wrong goal, lad. That's the wrong goal, mate.
This is a trick some players do. This is what Cal did very well. Just hit it into your opponent, because getting the angle yourself is going to be hard. Your opponent is going to be in a bad position for this to save it. Like almost always, if there's not somebody challenging on that wall, just hit it into the defender that's coming back or is in that awkward position, and you can get a lot of good chances there. Max is back now trying to look for some fancy plays. I mean, they're already one ahead. Why not give us a bit of a show?
Yeah, why not try and do something fancy? Potentially give your opponents a little bit of confidence going into this. And
we got a rule
1 as well. Lovely stuff, Coxion and Unco. And there we go, the rule 1. It seems as if Unco is slightly winning this one, edging out on Coxion. Obviously, we will go back to the play. Maxio, it is a 2v2, so they're going to have to switch up their play. They're going to have to be a little bit more innovative and just more mechanical.
Yeah, the thing is, with the players that are stuck in the Rule 1, it's actually very beneficial. Coxion, the player with a bit of the weak touches here, there, and everywhere, getting him out for Onco, that's a trade you'll take any day. So this could be the best chance for 20 Blue to come back, but they need to have their 2v2 prowess, take a bit more control, slow down the pace of the game, because 2v2 becomes more about outplaying your opponent and not about just being fast enough. I love the fact that we're getting to see it and they are respecting it like this, but let's see if 20 Blue can capitalize.
I love how they're literally leaving it alone as well. Cal was just completely driving past it. He could have just bumped into his opponent, Sean Target. But they decided to completely leave them alone and let them be like a lover's quarrel. Now force it. Can he get towards that ball in time? There's Maxio. Mechanics didn't really matter, so he decides to go for a shot. Cal now off the back, but this kick to be dropping down. Should be saved by Forza, and indeed it is. Out to the side, we are still in the Rule 1. Nice little angle off of this Rule 1 as well, onto the entire field. Get a nice field overview. You see that Cal has so much time, but Forza with the interception, or T1 shot. What can he do? He can catch that ball. Try for a little bit of a solo play, but Max here gets an easy clear. And for a 2v2, this has been incredibly long without goals. And while I say that, oh my word, Forza gets incredibly close. No, what are you doing?
No, you broke the Rule 1. One single bump is the end of it. They have decided 20 Blue wants their Coxion back, and let's see if it pays off for them.
If now Coxion scores, he's going to be the man of the match for sure, even though he's been out of it for so long. And Cal, can he just get back right in and score a goal? That would have been a bad decision. And now it is Onco. He wasn't a Rule 1, and he will be the one to score a bad decision to get out of that Rule 1 from 20 Blue, and this is looking very dire for Rasmus.
It's going to be a question. Was that break, was that intentional, or was that by accident? Because if it was an accident, it can happen, but when accidents happen, sometimes people get hurt, and right now 20 Blue is the one really taking that pummeling once again.
they were taking the pummeling. And honestly, as you said, it was such a good trade on the sides. And that's nothing against Coxion. I mean, well, while I say that, it kind of is, but like not anything mean. He just plays the game as he's coaching now, and he just has a better view of the field than some of the players on it. Well, he doesn't really have the mechanics to back up the speed of play, so it's a really good opportunity to have Onko out and trade him in for Coxion. They're just messing about now. Onko taking the ball off of Maxio, and this one is all done and over with.
Yeah, I think it's more of a playstyle difference, where with Kuxian I could see a very good type of play working for them, where they can just keep control of the ball and keep pressure in the midfield. T1Shot loves to do a solo plays. He's very much a solo player, and that kind of can rub each other the wrong way. But this does mean Erasmus Esports taking the series with a very, very quick sweep, just complete and utter domination. Of course, Twente Blue had some chances, made some comebacks, and didn't look completely out of it. But Erasmus still overall the team that is just easily deciding to move on. Their opponents are not going to be easy. Like, in all honesty, Mojito is the GEA Fair Play Mojito is going to be an insanely strong team that they're going to have to be facing off against now. It's not going to be as it's going to be a different play style, a bit of a different speed, where Twente Blue loves their individual plays. I know from seeing Mojito that they love to play together and play that quickly.
Yeah, they really get it moving along the field, and considering this was on paper supposed to be a close matchup since they were 1-1, and at least expected a game coming out from Twente Blue, they just do not get anything. They do not manage to get anything going. And Twente Blue, they unfortunately lost against Erasmus here, and Erasmus will be moving on to play that Mojito's team. It's going to be a scary thought for Erasmus as well, but they have shown such dominance in this game, and maybe they'll just sweep through their opponents now.
Yeah, maybe they will, maybe they won't. I think the overall most important thing is that Erasmus has showed us that they can move on to the next step. Now, the next game is going to be that important one. And of course, it is stressful. You're playing for your tournament chance, for the chance to play in EURC, and they moved up one step. Twente Blue just fell short. This next one is going to be for at least a chance to get, or for the ability to play there, and then it's all about seeding and everything else. But overall, this was the important first step for Erasmus to make the run through this gauntlet, and we'll see how they go up against Mojito, of course, after we go to a break, and then we'll see you back with more Rocket League.
What does perfect even mean? Is there even such a thing? Ooh, can we switch up all the rules and imagine a utopia? Darling, I'm just so fed up with these expectations. They keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa, and if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to see, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a, yeah. Yeah, I've discussed it with myself, and I'm disgusted with the way we're told to have a certain face. I stood and wait because we aren't pixels on a screen. No, we're human, we breathe. Every single thing we see curated, it's overrated. These expectations, they keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, and if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to think, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a, yeah.
Hello and welcome back, everybody. I have switched to Iferia. I hope that's okay. I'm still Gavastrian. Don't worry, I'll be gone later. I have brought in Stealthy Wolf. And of course, we are still here on Rocket Kingdom TV, and we are still covering the qualifiers for the EURC from the Dutch side of things. And I'm very excited for more. Stealthy, most of all, just to ask you, how are you doing today?
Well, I'm doing amazing, Gavestrin, and of course, it's always fun to come back into the casting booth together with you. Of course, we have the Grid Adventures together. That was also a lot of fun. But now it is also something more close to heart, but maybe a little bit closer to home. The students that are, of course, working, most players also being students, and now competing to get that spot into the ERC for the Dutch League. That's definitely something that we can't just ignore. We have to appreciate it. We have to be there to show them their support in our way as a caster, to just give them a sort of commentary that they can look back on and be happy about.
We can maybe teach them a thing or two. But overall, of course, there has been a grueling set of weeks before all this. Before we got to this point, there were There were many matches, many games played, and of course the standings overall decided who was going to get a chance to qualify. Like I said before in the previous one, 4 teams didn't make it. The 4 that did make it, those are the ones we want to talk about. Of course, Twente Blue is out now. Twente Blue is sadly enough not going to be able to make it. Of course, the funny thing is, Twente Blue looked like was kind of tied up with Fair Play Mojitos because of the whole way the standings went, but because of different stats that we were looking at, Mojito still got the 2nd seed in the gauntlet, and Twente Blue was knocked to 3rd. So Erasmus, as the 4th seed, has already taken out 3rd seed, is now looking for 2nd seed, who did kind of the same, had some kind of the same performance throughout the season as well as the other seed. So it's all wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, a bit weird. The important thing is Erasmus is here, Mojitos are in the way, and whichever team comes out victorious of this best of 7 is qualified and then gets to play for seeding.
Yeah, and there's also something else to take into account as well, because Erasmus is basically continuing their spree from last week as well. They had to knock themselves, I think, through one match, but I mean, we see it as well in the matchup right now. Erasmus is playing it, Maxio, Taki, and Callum. Onko this time around not playing, and then Fair Play Mojitos is playing, or Mojitos, I don't know how you want to pronounce it. I say Mojitos because it flows a little bit better, you know. Is playing with Input, Flux, and Alco. I mean, that's also a very strong team. Mm-hmm. And even though they were going eye to eye with Twente Blue, I really hope that they can put up a little bit more of a fight, because, I mean, we saw Sweep City earlier. I don't want to see Sweep City again.
No, I prefer not to either. The thing is, if I have to pick a team that looks a bit more favored than this, of course, Mojitos looked like the more favored team, not only because they had a better seeding than Erasmus, it's also they always have a training partner in Fair Play Martini. And Fair Play Martini is pretty much one of the most dominant teams that we had in the scene here. They have only lost twice throughout the entire season and have won the other 12 times. They are a team that's going to be dominant no matter what. And that's something that either of these teams needs to eventually box up against. And Mojitos, I think, have a bit of an advantage because they can practice with that team because they're under the same umbrella organization. So when you have easy scrims, you can always get to a high level with.
Yeah, and in this, at the same time, we also look at the results of last year. It was also the Flair Play. Wow, this is a little bit fair more play. Flair than Fair Play. Yeah. But yeah, Fair Play Groningen at the time also performed really well. I think they made it into top 4 even. So yeah, I mean, it was a good performance from the part of the Dutch side. Now, to live up to that same expectation, I think both teams really need to show. Definitely here and on the side of Rocket Kingdom, where probably all the other people from also the UK side are watching what they got. Because if they now show a very poor performance, I think every UK university is going to just eat them alive.
Yeah, this is kind of a showing. If you show a good force here, you're going to be able to make them quake in their boots a little bit. So let's see how it goes. Fair Play Mojito in the bit of the red-ish kind of weird color against the white, which is Erasmus. Let's see it and let's take it away, Stealthy Wolf.
Well, so far so good. The pressure is a little bit even as Alco still tries to get that ball into the center, but what a clear for Inmax backpack. I think that is Taki?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to go with Taki because, I mean, it's a little bit confusing with that very, very long name and then also Maxio being there, but look at this. Kallio or Kal almost put that one on target immediately, but now it is Maxio. Taking a little bit more time, goes underneath, goes for the follow-up, the ball goes all the way to the other side right now. But this again leaves Erasmus yet another chance, and Kal has been lethal with his mechanical outplay so far for Erasmus and immediately tries to set something up that same way.
Yeah, and Max's backpack and Max have been connecting pretty well together with their passing play. So when we see that happening, it's also a danger sign. But Fair Play Mojito gets away with murder there. The save by the backpack. It's still all pressure all day on Fair Play Mojitos. They need to find a way to get out, which they have a decent chance now.
Well, the chances are, of course, stacking up, and it's like you said, Fair Play Mojitos not really have been able to put too much pressure alive right there. Flux just sending that ball all the way forward. it doesn't really give you too much pressure. It's not a substantial amount of pressure. Where on the side from Erasmus, we were talking about the point earlier where it was, I think, Maxio that sent that ball back into the midfield where Kali was able to follow up. Yes, you might say you lose a little bit of pressure at that same time, but you get another opportunity at the offensive play. So at the same time, it's actually a win-win scenario.
Yeah, you're not going to lose out on a lot of it. Now Max's backpack misses a touch, so Elko gets a chance, sets his teammate up, but Flux pass to the left, no one there, box to the right, Callum takes it away, and is now on the offense trying to beat input to that ball, drops down Elko, looking for a chance, is going to receive a pass probably from input, and there it goes into the midfield, shot is there, Flux cannot get it on target, and Max's backpack plays it away.
Ooh, and here a good opportunity from Carl. This is definitely what Erasmus is looking for, and poor play from input. Now Flux with the extension, can he follow through? He tries to go for another touch, but right now Erasmus, even though as shaky their defense might seem from time to time, they're definitely doing it well, and Taki not able to get that ball way too much further, but there is Carl. Does try and get that one from the ceiling, but now Maxio with a lot of speed sends that ball high. Alco is still there in an awkward position now. A little bit more time is being created from the side from Fairplay Mojitos, but at the same time, I still feel like that time is not really used to the best of their ability. I feel like that Erasmus is actually lining themselves up better with that time that is being created.
Yeah, I'm mostly chalking this up to warm up. I think Erasmus is, because of the previous series, is warmed up a little bit better. But Elko there still gets a chance on the board, and Fairplay Mojitos just sensing out the speed of the game. It's a little bit messy, but those mistakes can easily be fixed in the second game once they got their footing in this series, and they can look for better chances. But when you're Flux, you can go so hard on the ball that you're just going to bamboozle the entire enemy team.
Yeah, that's well played. A little bit out of position from Taki there, but I mean, yeah, warm up. It goes a little bit both ways though, Gavestrin, because like it's the same thing as we always say, that the first game is just that feel out match. You just want to feel what the other team is gonna do, how they react to certain plays, and so far I have to say that Erasmus basically have the bigger arsenal of opportunities. But if Fairplay Mojitos can always bang in the opportunities that they make or create or get, then definitely they have an opportunity. But right here, Taki almost taking out input, but now it is Elko. Shot on target, Carl still there, sends that ball to the side, now tries to follow it up. Does have the boost for it, takes it over Flux. Goes solo once again, but there is Taki. Now Carl with the 50. It was almost on target, but Maxi a little bit too aggressive at third. Right now, Erasmus has to take it all the way back and start anew.
Yeah, also give him up, so very smart to play that ball back a little bit more. Now this could be changed, very dangerous. That's the word I was looking for. Maxio gets the ball forward again. Overall pressure, I am liking what I'm seeing from Erasmus. I think they like you said, the chances are good, but if we see these boomers from Mojitos coming in, I think that was kind of the weakness. It's not always with Twente, with the last series, is that Twente had decent chances, but the people taking the chances couldn't always get it on target well enough, and it seems like Mojito's just a bit more clinical, a bit more fundamentally based, and that is looking very good for them against this Erasmus team that has some holes in the defense, but good passing chance here.
All right, here, if Taki was able to do that one, that would have been clinical, but right now it is Carl. Does go up into the air once more. Tries to get the reset, but in the end it is Taki that has to get a touch. Skull keeps it alive, tries to get it into the midfield. The midfield connection is found. Taki with the shot on target, it goes in!
Oh, you just saw it from the defender's angle. That was such an awkward ball drop. No respect, no back post position for Flux there. That could have been an easy save, but mispositioning in the goal means we're going to our first overtime. At least if it's a sweep, it's going to be a good one. First overtime of the series.
Well, the first overtime is, of course, great, but I mean, let's hope that it's not the only one. Let's hope there is still more to come, because right now it is, of course, Erasmus that did have a lot of opportunities, but Alco sends this one to the back ball. Taki does get a pull touch, goes into Alco's, well, front end of his car, but that pinch from Maxio and Gol, a little bit unorthodox, but it really works out in their favor as now Maxio is taking control. Does flick it into the midfield. Alco has to jump in. Gol goes for the 50. The ball is still very awkward for Fairplay Mojitos.
Yeah, but they get an extra touch with Elko waiting up there. This block could be good. Bouncing into midfield. Input now. Puts it off the backboard. See if Elko can follow up on that one. Touches it there. Cal saves it with Max's backpack in between. What a touch. What a save. And the first 50 seconds are very interesting already.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a different scenario that we saw at the start of the game. At the start, we saw Erasmus very dictating the pace, but right now it is called from the ceiling once more. Thus, uses a mechanics, and I think he's relying on them a little bit too much, whereas... Yeah, you were talking about the clinical execution that we had from the side from Fair Play Mojitos, and right now Taki has to go for that 50 in the air. Very awkward play, still able to do so. Now gets that ball into the corner. Input does take the boost, can't really follow up, and Flux as third. Jumping up for that one could have been very painful if somebody was ready from Erasmus.
Yeah, Erasmus just hunting for that a little bit more, but they don't want to overcommit. They don't want to make that same mistakes as they did against Twente. But now Elko, the 50 is good once again. I love how Mojito is trying to find good chances here. The touch there from Flux, though. No matter passes, no matter 50s, why not make it a bit of a show? Flux with a beautiful goal.
I mean, at this point, you have to realize that Cal was basically picking a fight, trying to go for mechanics the entire time. And sorry for that noise, bottle just fell. But yeah, he was just literally trying to pick a fight. So at the same time, now it was Flux that just really showed, like, come on, dude. If you want to do this, if you want to talk mechanics, just up your game at least. Because right now, I'm the only one scoring them, and you're not even getting close.
Yeah, I think I dislike mechanics when they're slow, and that's something I see from Cal happening the most, is that he has the mechanics to do the flip resets, to do the fancy stuff, but they're slow. He moves the ball forward with an air dribble, tries to get a 50 or a flick, and then tries to get it past their opponent. And then that time, all three opponents are back. One of them is challenging. The other one is in the goal. The third one is waiting for the 50 to spill out. Everyone is ready. You need to have more speed behind it. There needs to be a bit more than just one good play to get it past everyone, because it's not going to happen. These players are too quick.
I mean, being quick is one thing, but if you are a little bit slower and able to control it, it also dictates a lot of the pace, dictates a lot of the game. And I feel like right now, with that pace difference, just to be fair, I feel like Erasmus and Fair Play Mojitos are evenly matched, at least, so to say. And if we would get a little bit more speed from the side from Erasmus, we've seen them be able to do it before. Definitely push Cal out of those mechanics and just go for a little bit more quick. Like, ceiling shots can go way fast. The ceiling shot he went for was a little bit too stifled. It even looked like it was going to try and throw a musty flick into that one. But those are very rare to get in a very competitive mindset.
Yeah, those are chances. You can get them if you're fast. If you're fast and it's on a counter-attack, like fast break moment where you can just move up quickly enough to get the ball past everyone and the backboard is not defended. But with the speed that's there, the backboard is going to be defended. These players know what's happening. This is Europe after all. This is not NA. This is Europe. In Europe, we defend the backboard because we know everyone's seen Devo and can do the double tap, so we need to stop that again and again. And it's only speed that is going to let that go through and not long-winded air dribbles like this.
Yeah, right now this Gold still trying to look to follow up and has no boost, goes for a little bit of an overextension, doesn't even go for the corner boost, but here's an opportunity. Max with the shot goes high because Flix is still in between, but Gold drops it down. No more fancy mechanics, he just goes for the fancy redirect down and it works in his favor.
Look at the amount of pressure they can set up, touch after touch, going towards the net. At some point, the defenders will get tired. They will make a misstep, and then you have Cal. You don't need the mechanics. Just a simple touch can work well. 1-0 now for Erasmus. They want that first game to be gone and move into the second one with a strong position.
Well, right now it is Alco with a shot on target. Taki is there to follow up. I even feel like it is Onko, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm getting very confused for players changing their name the entire time, but hey, we're gonna go with Backpack at this point, because that is part of their name at the point, so... Kind of brought it up on itself.
Yeah, it's kind of like you want to build your brand, so don't switch name. It's not just for casters and tournament organizers. If you want to be the best player you can be, you need to have a sellable name. So stick with a name and make it big. You don't have to have a good nickname. You can make your nickname good, but stick with it so people know who they're seeing, know who's dominating the field, know who's making these plays. Because if you don't, people get confused and then they might accredit it to someone else.
Yeah, but right now this is an awkward moment. Moment.
Awkward momentum. Awkward momentum here. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we both know the vibe I was going for, so that's at least something. And right there, it just continues. Fair play. Mojito's not able to really get a touch on that ball, and Carl just goes for a little bit too fancy mechanics again. Like, immediately should have went for the shot, went a little bit too high up the wall to really follow up. But right now, backpack is there. Does get another touch, sends it to the crossbar though. So that's a little bit of a clinical finish that really needs to get, well, switched up. I mean, we don't want to see those backboard and crossbar hits most of the time, because
double commit, open net, easy shot. Cal gets the finish. Communication, and there was an error. The double commit throws off everything, and Erasmus looking good though. I mean, it's still enough game left, and Mojitos can come back, but Mojitos a little bit messy here and there.
The messiness is, of course, something that we can clean up. We take a little bit of a napkin, we write down our strategy on it, and then we rub it in it, and then at that point it works, right? I mean, that's how common logic works.
Yeah, sounds clean. I think it should work. A little sillet bang and the problem's gone. But overall, it seems Erasmus now finally really strong, has adjusted to their opponent and is putting the screws to Mojitos. And of course, a Mojito can be tasty, but if you have too much of it, then you can get crushed by it. And maybe they hit a bit too much of their own name, because for now it seems Erasmus really dominating.
At the same time, we have to look at it this way as well, Gavestrin. Like, if you challenge a bird, like the one we see from Erasmus, I can't really get to the name at this point, but they can grab the glass that the Mojito is in and then just pour it out. So I think that's also what we're seeing. I think that Erasmus at this point is just pouring out all the opportunities from fair play Mojitos and is just saying like, nope, we are not having this, sir. We're throwing this away. We're making it rain down on all the others, but we are going to stay on top. You're going to be underneath us in our feet. And that's also what we see in defense. They're very dominant right there. Even from a double commit, they can recover, get a neutral 50 into the midfield. And yeah, here, a passing opportunity for a potential goal.
Yeah, the goal not enough mustard on to get in. And I think Erasmus is running with an albatross, or at least a giant freaking seagull. And we all know seagulls can be very annoying. They know how to steal your drinks. They know how to mess stuff up, and that's exactly what they're doing to the Mojitos here. Fair play has a bit of work to do. Maybe they can do it now, but they need to look for that first goal to get this game back and not just have one win and then tie the series up after this.
Well, right now it is Erasmus that scores with 3 goals in the lead, as everybody can see from the scoreboard, but I think mentally they also know that they are in a very strong situation. But right now, Maxi taking this one to the side, drops it down to Carl. A nice 1-2-1. But now Flux trying to flick that one into the midfield. Carl follows up, does get another touch. Elko is there, does not really get the control he wants. And yeah, even though Erasmus sometimes feels very rushed and not really controlling their touches, they get beautiful opportunities like these that just go in, and then a 4-0 scoreline after a very painful overtime loss in game 1.
Yeah, it's good recovery. It shows a lot of mental stability here for Erasmus. A very lovely way of being able to push forward and keep playing the game, even though you lose one. And as we said, first one doesn't matter that much. Erasmus felt that their opponent figured out how to play, and like you said, the individualness of Cal has taken a little bit of a backseat, with more team play now happening, with very good control from all 3 players to keep such a dominant performance on the field.
Well, right now it is Erasmus with Cal that almost had a beautiful one, but luckily Backpack is still there, able to follow it up. And hey, I mean, sometimes you say you're in the backpack, but you're just right there to clean everything up. And at the same time, we do have to say, then you're not really in the backpack, then you are the backpack.
No. Sometimes the backpack can carry. I mean, I don't know if we've all played it. Maybe I'm a little bit too old, but Banjo-Kazooie. The bird was in the backpack, but it could carry the bear pretty well. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. Backpacks can be very good to make a lot of good stuff happen. And I think here for Erasmus, it's definitely working in their favor.
Well, right now, Carl playing that ball to the side does try and go for something fancy. I mean, it wouldn't be a call if it doesn't go for something fancy, and the pinch almost connects, but it is a very high chip up now. Flux getting that ball into the midfield. Maxio playing it back to his own side, trying to follow it up. And yeah, right now it is Erasmus that do tie up the series score, but they got a lot of momentum at this point.
Yeah, the momentum feels very much on their side. If we see it as well, big ball possession domination. You don't usually see it. Over 60% was Erasmus. So Mojitos, you need to start looking at keeping the ball a bit closer to you. You're throwing it away too much. But boost consumption, always a very interesting stat to look at as well. Seems just about even. Erasmus still moving around the field a little bit quicker and lower boost usage than last game. So overall, a lot more control. And as we look at some of the plays, yeah, Cal just popping off. Cal just beautifully able to find the goals that he needed to, find the control that he needed to. And when a player like this pops off, just keep giving him the ball. I think we should put the backpack on Cal and not on Max this time.
Yeah, I feel like Maxi was a little bit silent in that regard indeed. But I mean, you know, if you're a solid foundation for your team, that's also something, and why you would say that you're in somebody's backpack. And at the same time, the titles do say it, Kaleo, and I think it is Onko. But yeah, we're gonna still keep calling him backpack from now on. He brought it upon himself. They did be SSL in season 1, but right now it still feels a little bit too much like MS in order to say, yeah, I mean, this is 100% high SSL players.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like very decent players. They're mostly very calm. That's what I love about SSL players. It's a solid calmness that they can bring to the field. Even in high-paced games like this, they always have the right touch. They always know where to follow up, and they make the best out of any situation in that way. And overall, I think that's pretty good. I love that they picked Max as the player that they would say is wearing the backpack. And it might be Max being a bit more silent. This is to build up his confidence, as I said last time as well. This could be a confidence thing. Like, you're the one who's going to be carrying us. You play your game, and we got this. You can carry us through. But for now, Flux is saying, no. Stop talking about Erasmus. It's us you want to be focusing on, because we're going to be the one taking the lead.
Yeah, as we said in game 1, he was of course the one that was doing a lot of damage to the side of Erasmus, and I still feel like if we have to look at somebody to be clinical for Mojitos in order to score, it's gonna be Flux.
Definitely, I'm very much in love with the way these players are playing at the moment. It's not too much solo play. It's not too much here and there anymore. I think they stepped away from that enough, and we can see that team play coming in, and that's what I hope is going to win through here. Passing play for Cal. Gets the good block here, but input now puts it in front of the net in a dangerous position. No follow-up as Cal has to play the one away. Gets blocked down, and Elko keeps up that pressure. Gets a goal.
Yeah, and here's a little bit of the reverse scenario that you were talking about. You were saying that SSL players usually stay calm, stay collected, know when to take control, but there, Cal, even though he had very little boost, he still decided to rush after that ball, to rush it into his own corner, giving a good opportunity for fair play Mojitos. And we do have to give full kudo points to them to be able to follow that one up. But now Max tries to get it into the side. Flux out plays Cal. The ball is still in the center. Alco with a snipe. And it goes in. 3-0 established like it is nothing. And like game 2 never happened.
Ooh, that is a big boom here. It's It's like the last game didn't even happen. They're just switching. I think they're switching sides here. They're wearing each other's jerseys or something, because one team can be dominant one game, and then the next is dominant. No real consistency yet. Although that was interesting passing play, very risky. Just shoot it at your goal and hoping your goalie got that. But I mean, it's a backpack pass, maybe.
Well, the pass from the backpack into the main man, and Alco almost scored the own goal, but nobody was ready from Erasmus. And here again, there it was a little bit of a curse, that patience that you were giving credit for. Because if they moved out of defense, let the third man rotate in, we had a clear shot at that. That would have been a great opportunity for them to get that first goal, but now it is Flux keeping up that pressure. Does try and go an underneath Carl, but Carl is still there. Elkonov with the double tap. Backpack still there in order to get a touch to the sidelines, but this time around, he has to take it all the way. He does not get the flick they usually get from a Dominus, so things not really going the way that Erasmus wants it to go.
No, it just seems they're so reliant on their mechanics that every time they cannot connect with the ball in the way they want, they just feel a bit off. It's like that one step on a stairs that you think is there, so you step up and you step forward and it's not there and it feels like you're falling forever. That little mishap seems to be happening on the field here as well. Now, of course, the counterattack could be coming in here again. Elko putting it one forward. Max's back. Cool, calm and collected, gets it past 150 is decent, but it rolls almost into goal. That was anything but a decent. That was a dirty 50 I've ever seen one.
Well, the 50s are not clean martinis, but that's probably why it's mojitos. But right now, it is a very, very rough scenario for Erasmus. They dominated last game. Right now, they are getting dominated. They're stuck in their own defense. Their touches are really not connecting. Not really going the way that they wanted. And right here, once more, we see Backpack not being able to get a proper touch for his team. And it really just chokes up a lot of the mobility and the dynamics that we saw last game.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things that you see here a lot. Erasmus wants to play that ball away, plays it, but not far enough to the side. This pops out too far, input just waiting there, and it's been. If it wasn't a breakaway goal, it's goals where Mojitos is just waiting just outside of the 16 meters and just looking for that ball to bounce out in the correct way so they can punish. And oh, that is a goal the other way. Cal with good kickoff. Gets a goal all on his own. If I can do it with my team, I'll do it solo.
I mean, at the same time, you got a little bit of help. Just a little bit. And that's sometimes what you need. That little bit of help can make a world of difference. And right now, the kickoff goes neutral once more. But it is Flux that does try and redeem himself. Does not get that ball further than Maxio, as it's now Alco. Outpaced by Carl. Maxio is still there. The ball goes on target. And somehow, suddenly, we're seeing a twist around.
So, it's as we can see now, Mojito's lead not as solid as we thought. You could even say frail. It's a thing that can happen where you get a bit overconfident. You start wanting to move forward, play a bit too aggressive, and you're not respecting your opponent for what they can actually do. This is a mistake a lot of teams make once they think they're ahead. How many ranked games have you had where you're ahead 3 or 4 goals and you think, we can move up, we can do something fancy, and all of a sudden things fall down a bit? Fair play Mojitos kind of falling for that same curse. They need to treat this series. Never underestimate Erasmus, because that Albatross is looking for you to peck you in the eyes and take away your lead.
Well, right now, they are getting outplayed, though, and I think it is actually a 2v2 scenario at this point. So, Maxio trying to get that ball forward. Elko still with the interception call. Shot to the back bolt. Maxio is there. The follow-up. Painfully close.
That could have been it. That needed to go in. Now the pass to midfield once again. Can the individual players do it here? Maxio playing it forward, does not get it. Alco now taking control, wanting to waste as much time as possible. Dribbling the ball past one, 50 with the other. The goal is basically open, but it's flying all the way to the other side. And there, time is gone. It let it drop, and fair play Mojitos takes this game 3-2-1 ahead in the series. But it's still that blemish of game 2, still in the back of my mind at least. And the question becomes, can they now get a solid lead, or is Erasmus going to step back in game 4?
It's a very good question, and I hope that Erasmus is going to step up in game 4. They, at the start at least, because I don't want to say anything about this game. It was just horrendous from their end, to be blatantly, painfully clear and honest about it. But yeah, they did have the upper hand, and I still feel like they should be able to step up in game 4. But right now, it just feels like Backpack doesn't know how to play with the other two, doesn't really know how to work together, because I feel like sometimes he is too close in the opponent's box, doesn't rotate out fully. That creates those very awkward scenarios where Fair Play Mojitos is able to get very easy goals.
Yeah, so you want to see more solid communication in the rotation to get people out, because that's one of those things. If you have someone who loves to stay forward, loves to stay that aggressive, you are taking away space from the rest of your teammates to play there, because you don't want to commit 2 players there. You want to stay a bit more spread out, and that can create very awkward situations for you and your team if you do not rotate away. So Max's backpack needs some adjustments now. Maybe they can do it in game 4. Let's see how this goes. Are we going to see a tied series, or is Fair Play Mojitos going to take the advantage?
Well, at least we see that Maxio is in a car where he would probably be able to hit the ball a little bit better, as Backpack almost gets a musty flick goal immediately, but now Alco getting that ball into the midfield. Backpack is there, shot on target. Flux able to get the save as input was directed in towards his own net. Now Carl just bangs the ball once again, but now it is Maxio that does get a solid touch. Carl goes in, goes for the shot, gets blocked by Flux though, and Backpack, yeah, he tries to keep up that pressure, but there's very little you can do when you're in that position and nobody from your teammates is really ready for it.
Oh, the passing play looked cute, but with no elevation on the ball, it becomes an easy save here. Maxio tried to put up pressure. Max now has a decent chance, did not get the flip, and Flux coming out of the side, able to get that one away. Good clear here from Elko, but you're giving away the ball, but if no one picks it up on the other side, you can keep up some pressure. Now it's Max's backpack. The backpack looking good, getting past one. The touch there is good into midfield. Max backpack still trying to keep up that pressure. Gets a demo as well. The extra touch in there does not get it past Flux, who defends that out pretty well. And now the counter attack could be coming in with Max's backpack looking to take control.
You know, at this point, I still feel like Erasmus is a little bit disconnected in the sense we see a lot of unnecessary touches from Maxio, or just touches going immediately to the side, giving up a lot of opportunities, a lot of possibilities to do more effective things. And I think that's also why we're seeing Backpack struggling so much, because right here he leaves space for Carl and then apparently gets Carl to still go for that ball while he's completely out of position. I still feel like this is maybe just a level in experience, even though Carl might as well been Supersonic Legend himself. He has a completely different mindset in the game than Backpack does.
Yeah, it feels like there's just these awkward disconnect moments where you're expecting one team, one player to do the right thing, but here now Elko gets the pass, input, puts it in. That is a beautiful combination of names, and that's a good start for Fair Play Mojitos. And Erasmus, again, people need to challenge that backboard. There needs to be someone there.
Well, right now we're already 2 minutes and 10 seconds in Gewestern, and I think at this point, Erasmus have to pull it back. We saw them pulling it back, of course, near the end in the last game, but once again, this is something that I am getting very tired of seeing, is Carl just completely banging the ball the entire time. It's wasting so many opportunities. I feel like he could do so much more. He does have that mechanical ability, but yet he doesn't use it in a 1v1 scenario, and that's a little bit upsetting to me.
Yeah, and what my co-caster is talking about here is that, yeah, Cal, he's touching the ball, and that's great, but you can wait. You can draw in your opponents, because if you just boom the ball forward, your opponent is going to move back, going to say, thank you for the ball, and do his thing with it. You want to take control. You want to force a player close to the ball so that you can outplay one, because every time you outplay one, that means there's one less defender you need to get past for a goal.
Right now, though, it is Fair Play Mojitos trying to get their second, as I think it is input that outpaces the backpack right here, and now Alco touch goes slightly wide, does go for the boost, a beautiful extension here, but now Carl does take his time a little bit more, does get that flick. Now, they're past, they need one player gone, input just has to get demoed, but they take way too long to set up this play, and therefore Fair Play Mojitos is able to keep it within one.
Yeah, whew. That was a very good chance. The bit more control really shows you what you can do with it. Maxio here as well, trying to do the same thing. The 50 well enough received, but the follow-up not really there. Input with a good block now. Can he get a pass into midfield? The touch is a bit awkward, but gets it past it. Cal just waiting patiently, gets that ball away, and it's now counter-attack time for Erasmus.
Yeah, right here we see a potentially beautiful passing play, although right there, Backpack wasn't able to continue for it because Cal was still up. Maxi was there, but the miss! Oh. The fake from Maxio. It was a miss fake kind of scenario, but it worked out perfectly for Erasmus.
Hey, if a fake works, it works. And there looks to be a small bit of ghost hit contact as well. Well, ghost hits don't really do much, so that works out perfectly. And that bamboozled the defenders, of course. You're expecting a touch there. If someone goes up, you're assuming they have a touch. And that's why those fakes can be so effective against these players. Oh my.
This is really what I wanted to see most of all from Erasmus. And at the same time, I do get why it's coming, of course, from Backpack. He has been playing very calm and collected, taking his time most of the time, whereas we see Carl and Maxio trying to go for more dynamic plays. So right here in that 1v1 scenario, he used that Dominus hitbox to the best of his ability. He knows that he can get very powerful flicks with it. And excuse me, what?
And we have a pinch goal. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. The moment that two players just butt heads well enough, get the ball in between them, and just bloop it out into a goal somewhere. That's a bit weird. Not what we would expect it, but Erasmus says, thank you very much. We'll take it. Looking very good for them. But Flux now can knock it past. Can the finishing touch be there? Elko has it. It's still a 1-goal game with 42 seconds.
I mean, yes, it's still a 1-goal game, but this time around, the things are switched. The table is flipped.
The table
flipped.
Yes.
The table is flipped.
The tables have turned. The standings have flipped. Let's get going and let's see what's happening in these last 40 seconds. As Stealthy tells us what Max's Backpack is doing here now.
Well, the Backpack is trying to go for a little bit fancy, trying to stall for time as much as possible, but right now it is Flux. Input. Does get a touch, does get a pass, Call this way, there's nobody in defense. Elko does try and go for a quick shot, poor communication coming through from Cal and Maxio once again. But this time around, Cal does take his time, does get a pass one, does get the 50, goes on target. This is what I wanted to see, Cal. Thank you very much for finally listening.
Yeah, more solid play makes my co-caster happy. More fundamental things, less flair play, more solid play. It's those small things that can really matter. You rolling into your touches, getting better 50s, and being able to control the ball and not just throwing it away. Because every time you go for an air dribble like this, you've basically given the ball away already because people have gotten so good at defending it. Oh, good waiting there from Maxio.
Yeah, right now, Fair Play Mojitos have been playing very aggressive in those last moments, and Alco not being able to finish that one, that is a clinical mistake for them. They wanted to build that momentum, of course, for Game 5, because going back to back, I mean, it's like, what, 1 Fair Play, 2 Erasmus, 3 Fair Play, 4 Erasmus, 5. If Erasmus can take 5, I think the tables will turn. We will flip them again, and then we will see a 3-2 for Erasmus, 3-3 for Fair Play Mojitos, and a 4-3 for Erasmus. I think that is going to be my final prediction as well. I really just hope right now that Cole can come up and do this same kind of plays that he did in the end.
Yeah, keep this going. We don't want to see fair play to fair play. I mean, fair play against fair play is also a lot of fun. Like Mojitos against Martinis. I'm more tempted to like Mojitos than Martinis, but that's just Martinis are a very learned flavor. It's not a very basic flavor. I love a little bit more basic, a little more minty tea. Yay, it's my kind of thing. But on the other hand, Erasmus doing pretty well here. The turns could truly have tables, and the question is, can Erasmus put this through? Like you said, it's all on Cal trying to find more control during the game, because right now it's not. He still looks like too much of a flair player. I really want him to switch, but I'm not sure if he can.
Well, the switch is, of course, something that has to happen right now, Givestrin. We are going into Game 5. The team that wins this game is first 2 match points, 2 series points. And I think both teams really want it. They want to qualify. This is, of course, the last game to win in order to qualify for the ERC. After that, you're playing for seeding. You could say it doesn't really matter too much, but it makes a world of difference if you're in or not.
Yeah, getting in or not means more experience, more chances, more good games that you're going to have in your pocket. But overall, it still feels like neither one of these teams, I'm not sure if they're going to be solid enough. Like there seems to be a bit more chaos. Every player wants to be that star player, wants to do the fancy, but that means that the team play is just not there. And I'm wondering if they can really take any EU or C teams that really do focus on that team play. Because that's going to trump trump Fabulous almost every time. And questions for later. But for now, of course, Erasmus, can they get the momentum in the right foot and get the first goal on the board?
Well, right now, this call immediately right there. Does try and follow up from that back ball, but there is the back right now. Does get that ball into the center. Fluxes out. Does get that to Alco. Maxio out of position, still able to get the save. Right now, he has to do the same thing once again. Input is there. Can't follow up. Alco is completely outplayed, and Maxio gets an open end.
Nobody had boost by the end of that play. All the bars were empty. But even if the bars are empty, Maxio still finds a shot, gets it on target, and the out of position Alco can do nothing but watch as the ball rolls tragically. And then Erasmus really moving on that momentum right now, looking in the driver's seat.
Well, the driver's seat is of course the way to go forward if you are in the passenger seat. You're not really in control, and I guess this is finally why we see the name in Mac's backpack. I mean, he's probably just saving his strength for when it really matters, and that is of course Game 5, Game 6, potentially Game 7 if they can't close it out at this point. But momentum definitely heavenly, wow, in Erasmus' favor.
Yeah, Erasmus now looking like the dominant team, where Mojitos had their chances. They're sometimes just a little bit too messy. And I mean, messy is fine. I like messy sometimes. Messy can work. It's just against a team that's now trying to play a solid, as Erasmus is trying to dot their T's and cross their I's, or the other way around if you want to be correct. Just shows us a lot more potential, where on the other hand, fair play, I don't see any of these players being well enough to pop off on their own. They need those passing plays. They need the smart plays. They need some control and not just giving the ball away all the time if they want to have a chance here.
Yeah, right now it is fair play Mojitos that do work nicely together. Backpack does take his time. He realized that ball was wide. Now does go for the flick, gets a past input. Alco does not really get a proper touch as Maxio is there. Does try and go for control. Gets taken from behind from Alco, but here the passing play comes through. The miss is there as well, and yeah, Backpack did try and buy his team a little bit more time, but in the end he sets them up for a disastrous scenario, but Maxio is able to come through clutch, and I guess that's why he's in Mac's backpack.
Yeah, but what a dunk there, trying to get the demo in. Mojitos really trying everything. They're throwing everything in the kitchen sink at Erasmus right now. Erasmus holding on strong, but another attack is coming. The demo coming through as well. Maxio able to follow up to diffuse that situation, but the pressure still on input now. Lets the touch by Mac's backpack happen. And Elko, they have the midfield. Can Mojitos get a chance out of this, or is it going to be all bluster and no boom?
Yeah, it is, of course.
Oh,
a good opportunity there for the fair play Mojitos, but something that you said a couple of times already, Gavestrian, and that team play, it of course comes from solid positioning, and I feel like that is still lacking on both ends right now. We see moving out of that triangle. Of course, we were always talking about triangles when we're talking about rotations, and they move out of it, going a little bit too aggressive for an opposing boost, or just staying a little bit too far behind to where you can't really get some substantial pressure. And we see both scenarios, but here it is, Max. Not too far, not too close, able to finish this one off with a fairly simple shot even.
I mean, the backpack helping there, heating away the defender and making sure that no one can save that shot. And Maxio just right place, right time, positioning really well, able to sweep away there, or like sweep the ball in whenever they can.
Well, right now Maxio does try and set up something once again, but Cole dives in, and here it is really where we see that miscommunication coming through, and Maxio almost got the fall, but there is the backpack. Oh, Maxio!
Maxio does not want to get the goal in. He wanted to make it 3-0. That is his score sheet. Maybe he has some It's a bit of
Maxio?
gambling on it there, but Maxio trying to at least recover from the mistake that he made here. And here it is, input. Again, that is kind of how the game has been going. Taking the ball and then losing control way too quickly for Mojitos. They need to keep the ball closer together. They need to do more with it and not just give it away to people like Maxio, who's now looking for a demo, but Elko was already there for the defense.
Well, Carl, of course, reverting back to his old habits, let's put it that way, as he tries to go for a little bit too slow of a controlled play in the air. It's also very easy to read the ball. I mean, I think it's even like the pro-level aerial training packs that you get in the game. So you really have to step away from those kind of plays. But right now it is Carl that does get another opportunity, gets that ball to the back ball, does not have an opportunity to follow it up. But Erasmus Esports with their, well, fabulous carry at this point, Maxio, yeah, I mean, they done it. I mean, like I said, they're probably going to turn it around and go 3-2, probably 3-3 right now for Fair Play Mojitos if they can keep up that good momentum that they had in the previous games. But last game, it was Erasmus over the top mainly, yeah.
Yeah, and Erasmus, again, showing why they are a team to be feared, why they are a team that you should never count out. They had to face off against Twente Blue. We thought it was going to be close, but it was a very dominating position, and now they can keep that momentum going. It's still so cool to see that the fourth seed, the last team to make it out of the season, still has a chance to go into the ERC here. They are looking good. They are stepping forward. Now 3-2 in the series as well. One more, and it's Erasmus that move on to face off for seeding, but qualifies already. And Fair Play Mojito is going to fall off if they can't win the next two. So the tall order there for Flux, Input, and Elko, they need to find a way to stop this offense, to stop Maxio from dominating this hard on the boards, because right now Erasmus is just completely outpacing them at every single point.
And it's making a world of difference, of course. And Fair Play Mojitos, they know right now it's all or nothing. This is the game they have to step up. Because else, yeah, the ERC dream, as we could call it, is definitely far away. As Carl immediately tries to get that ball on target, but Maxio is there. Does take a little bit more time. Goes underneath, Input there, keeps that ball awkwardly on the back ball, but Fair Play Mojitos is still there. Max backpack into the center. What is Max doing there, though?
Max is just trying to be a little bit fancy, sees that he wants to be the one to carry the team. He wants that MVP on his name. He wants to be worthy of a backpack. The passing play, it happens, and Maxio bounces off the crossbar, or as we call it in Dutch, the decklot. It's what a shot, and what an unfortunate one. Maxio is feeling himself here.
Right now we are seeing some more passing plays from Erasmus, so even though they were a little bit disconnected earlier, the 1-2-1, it almost came through. That would have been incredible to see. But right now, this is an opportunity for Fair Play Mojitos. Carl does take it to the other side. There is Flux, does go on the knee, but now it's the backpack. Down to Carl, down to the backpack. The backpack trying to find a bump on Elko, but he gets the center in the end. Sadly enough, Maxio wasn't able to commit to it because Carl was already there. So have to give credits to Erasmus at this point. They are definitely very conscious of their third man and trying to make decisions according to that.
Yeah, Maxio trying to play that ball far away, but it falls for Flux. So Max backpack has to help with the save as well. The pressure now on Erasmus. Can they get out of here with it? No, the good 50 from Input keeps it there, still in the dangerous position. Elko could have a pass off the backboard, but it's already defended away. Now, the long clear behind the players could be a bit more awkwardness. It is Max Backpack taking control, getting the pass there. Can they get it past Input? Input almost going for the bump. Everybody bumping everybody right now. And Flux thinking for a long shot, but doesn't even get it on target, and there was already a defender back.
Wait, we're not playing women roller derby? Oh, I'm in the wrong game, I think. That is probably what everybody was thinking in the field at this point.
You're also saying it wrong. Roller derby is the women's part of the sport. It's men's roller derby that has the moniker with it. It's important. For this one, it's very, very important.
Yeah, true. Because, I mean, to be fair, I would never want to go up against any of the ladies in roller derby. They're not scary, but they are very strong. And that's my main concern.
They're scary. Just don't worry. Bonnie Thunder will kick your ass on skates any day of the week. It's a majestic thing to see.
Well, good thing we are, of course, in a car on 4 wheels, and skates are on 8 if you count both feet, of course. But
Aw,
right
fair
now,
enough.
right now it is Maxi, of course, that does try to get that ball into the center. Input does clear it, but right now this is a setup possibility. Now Backpack slows it down, does go for the 50 with Alco. Now Call launches that ball forward. Input does get a touch, but it's still in his own half. Can't really do anything with it as Flux has to jump to avoid Call here. Now Maxio can't really get it past it. And Call, why do you double commit of all places right there?
That one defensive mishap can be enough, and it's a tried and true method of rotating ball side. It can mess up your teammates and then also make you double commit. It can happen to the best of us. It happened at the worst time for Erasmus, and now Mojitos are in the lead and are looking to extend that lead and get us to that all-important Game 7.
Well, Game 7, of course, would be a dream right now for the Fair Play Mojitos, and they're in a good scenario, in a good situation, but Maxio does try to get that ball forward right now. It is still a little bit even as Backpack slows it down once more, does try and get that ball forward. There is an opportunity for Maxio. No, Maxio! Oh, yes, goal! Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, what a moment. Max's Backpack sets it up pretty well. Maxio, though, misses the ball there, but Max's Backpack already sees the chance for a bump. Cal, bit overcommittal, but if you're that quick, you can get in there and they tie it up. Erasmus still looking to finish this in Game 6. They don't want to go to that Game 7 and give a chance to Mojitos, but Mojitos says, no, we hit right back off the kickoff. 1:13 left and 2-1 for Fair Play.
This is just very painful. Backpack still trying to get to that ball, but of course, if you don't know how to follow up, if you don't have a clear communication, a clear way to do kickoffs, it's going to be rather painful. But right now, Carl does get a brilliant kickoff. Backpack immediately with the speed, does still get outpaced though. Now it is Maxio, does get dunked. Elko gets that ball into the midfield. Flux is there, but Carl plays it over him. Now Input trying to control it. Max does get the bump, but Alco is still there. Fair Play Mojitos are keeping up that pressure. They know when to follow up. Call with a shot on target. Oh, and Backpack. He could have been able to fake it, but sadly enough, Max is also just dancing on the field.
Just doing a little dance, make a little love, gets a bit down tonight. Oh, demo after demo coming in. The ball, all of a sudden, nobody's ball, nobody's possession. And the question becomes, is Flux going to be able to get a pass into midfield? He fakes it for Input. Input gets it back to the Backpack, but Maxio is still there, getting decent control, flying up now, looking for bumps and demos as Cal tries to get a double touch shot. A bit of an orthodox way of trying to do it, but here we see it. Passing play still happening, a little bit over Cal, and the ball was given away to Elko. And the back and forth happened, and that's exactly what Mojito wants with the last few seconds happening. Here it is. Maxio gets the pass into midfield. It bounces off the backboard. There's a good chance here. Cal cannot get it on target. It's Max's Backpack trying to keep it up. Input with the 50 is not going well enough. Max's Backpack still on that keep up duty. They can do it well. The ball bounces away, and there it is. It's still not dropping, but this should be it. And Fair Play Mojitos take us to Game 7. All to play for in one more game here in this awesome gauntlet. Whew.
I mean, at this point, I really just have to ask myself, why? Why does Erasmus do it to themselves every time?
Every time, push it to that very, very important game to potentially lose it all. Because right now, it's that last game that going to make the world of difference.
Well, that one game is going to make the change happen. And for me, Mojitos is a team that I'm not really looking to anything specifically from them. They're a bit messy. They're a bit all over the place. They're just starting to create chances here and there that happen to work out. Well, on the other side, Erasmus, hey, in all honesty, Erasmus trying to do more of those team plays. Yes, mistakes are happening, but overall, I like their team play a bit more. I give them a good chance in Game 7. But, I mean, the turns have tabled, but they've table turned again. And as we all know, as a good DJ, you will keep turntabling all the time until you have that right mix happening. It's just we're going to game 5. Like, this is not silver scrapes. This is golden grapes we're going into now. The last game of the best of 7. We're going to see it happen. Mojitos once again taking the field against Erasmus in this final game. Let's see who can win this. Who are you rooting for here in the chat? Let us know. And Stealthy, take it away with this show.
Well, the last 5 minutes of regulation time for this, what we could call grand final as well, because, like, to be honest, the first seed is already the first place is already secured at the moment for Fair Play. Martine, they know that they are qualified, but these two legends, they still have to fight for that place. And right now, this input immediately trying to put up some pressure, does get that ball into the corner, but now there is Call, does get a brilliant flick. Right now, he is more reliant on his one-on-one mechanics, and it's really working out in their favor as Maxio did get an opportunity. Salianov not in position to follow up, but did a Skull in the end that is able to do so. Get a set past one. Alco still there. Now the backpack with the follow-up keeps that pressure alive. Maxio goes very offensive as third, and now Kalia does have to try and clean up.
Yeah. Oh, the bump there in the back, making sure that the clear is a little bit more awkward. Pressure could now be put on, but nobody following up on the ball there. Alco now looking for the hunt. Seeing if he can beat Maxio. Does not get it a little bit in their favor. And the miss there becomes even more in favor. He can just shoot that in. And Alco puts Mojitos 1 up after the struggle in game 6.
Well. Table turning tables. Tables. That seems to be... Yeah, that seems to be the thing right now. The tables, they are not like, I want to be flipped, I'm going to fall over one way or the other. But Erasmus, they need to put up a good challenge right now and not keep giving away the balls to players like Alco, who got that first goal. He's looking very solid. He wants to secure this one. Gets that ball into the midfield. Input was almost there. But right now it is Call. Counter-attack. Ball into the midfield. Alco can't really touch it. Now there's still Call. Ooh. Does get that ball into the middle once again. The ball drops down. There is the backpack. The backpack can't finish it. Maxio potentially. So many opportunities from Erasmus, but they can't finish them off.
No, and that is a very weak backflip now. The counterattack could be coming in, but Cal sees an opportunity, takes the shot, the double commit, the bump is a little bit awkward, but the ball still falling well for Cal. Cal, this is his moment. He can get the double touch. Does not get it. The touch is a bit slow. The block is still there from Elko falling out of nowhere. Counterattack could be coming in, and the bump is making it a lot more sure for Mojitos to take a bit of control now, getting the ball the other way. But Erasmus looking for so much pressure.
Yeah, I have to say though that I feel like Erasmus is just really making it harder for themselves than it had to be. Right there, we saw in the midfield that Carl just got straight in from the backpack. Like, backpack was literally one Carl length behind Carl, and Carl still was like, you know, this is mine. Did get a decent opportunity from it, just too quickly, poor setup, and then in the end, you're not able to follow it up. But right now, we are approaching halfway time. This is a moment that Erasmus has to change the tide as backpack does get a brilliant touch pass. Input, Flux still there. Ball into the midfield. Maxio doesn't get a touch. Now the backpack has to get that one down to Maxio. Does get it past one. Brilliant block. Oh, almost goes in, but Alco, he is just too insane for the Fair Play Mojitos right now to keep them alive.
What a touch on there. It's back and forth the entire time. 2 minutes left now. Ball still dropping into midfield. Cal gets blocked out by Flux. Still bounces well. Maxio in the knock position but gets the save with the backpack together. They can keep it out. Now, pass into midfield. It's a good one. The shot a little bit too high. The crossbar taking the save here. And Cal losing that momentum just a little bit. The back pass could still prove worthy. It's input taking that one and taking it away, and this piece comes back to Middle Earth here. We're still seeing so many chances for that wrong ring, who was not burned, to go into overtime, because we 1 goal from Erasmus with a 0 on the board.
Well, right now it is Cole being able to get that ball into the corner. Can he do more with it? He comes from the ceiling, does not really get the block he needs as backpack still gets that touch. Maxio there. Can he get it in? No, there's still Alco. Just Alco, too clinical in any part of the game right now. Clinical in defense, in offense, as he gets that ball into the center. Once again, Flux to Alco, blocked by Maxio. Input is still there. The pressure is still on from the Fair Play Mojitos as we get into that last minute. Now Maxio can't really get a touch. Carl has to get that clear. Gets that one into the center, and Maxio able to get that demo, but there is still Input. that does take that ball forwards.
Oh my lord, the pass is to the corner now, followed by Flux, trying to get that ball away from their side of the goal. Input now, decent shot chance, bounces into middle once again. Flux with a pre-flip, gets to the ball, is in that corner. That gets played away by Maxio. Maxio now looking for the other side, does not have the boost. Max's backpack with an awkward block, nowhere near that, and it could be very dangerous with the block there for Max's backpack being good enough to outplay the defender, but it's still dropping dangerously. Maxio plays that to the side. Input now has a moment to control that ball, tries to get it into midfield. The pinch, it could be good, but it's not good enough for Erasmus. They need that counter attack. Max's backpack now flicks it past one. Maxio passes to the midfield. Flux is already there. He plays it away, and that could be it. The chance still there. Input able to extend that one. Still bouncing into midfield. The block is there. Fair play, Mojitos, play it back. Erasmus just short of a victory there. GG, well played to both teams. What a game.
I mean, in the end, we did ask for a game 7, best of 7, and we have to stay unbiased as possible, but oh my. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, but like Erasmus really just choked it for themselves more than Fair Play Mojitos showing up, because we saw a lot of opportunities just going to waste by wrong person going, cutting in front of somebody else that had a way better approach, rushing in defense. And in the end, it's a well-deserved win, though, for Fair Play Mojitos, which means that Fair Play is just Fair Play. They have 2 teams in the ERC somehow.
Yeah, they did it well. They have 2 teams moving into the ERC now, depending, pardon me, on who plays better in the next series, because we have one more series to go to put Fair Play Mojito against Fair Play Martini, mix the 2 drinks, see what we can get. It's going to be a lot more excitement, but congratulations to them. Commiserations to Erasmus and to Twente Blue. Both teams played very well, but it was not enough to try and get through that block that are the Fair Play teams on top.
Well, that's, of course, sadly the end of that game. I wanted to continue. It would probably, if we were to go best of 9, best of 11, if we would have still gone to game 11. But Fair Play Mojitos is our winner. They're going to face Fair Play Martinis, as you said yourself. But that will be for after a short break.
Point in blaming you, you did not know how. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I give you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, of course, to the qualifier. Oh, well, it's not really the qualifier at this point anymore, but the seeding dedicator of the NBSE, the Dutch Student League. And I'm still Selfie Wolf, joined by Hypheria this time around. We kicked Gavestrian out of the casting booth. He's done enough for us today, and the young squad is taking over this time around.
Exactly. All out with the old people. Zoomers take over. Well, I don't know. I'm not a Zoomer anymore. I don't think you're a Zoomer anymore. Well, yeah, we can make predictions, but you guys can already predict as well very early on. Predict who's going to win this series. Use the channel points. Maybe place a few bets without actually losing anything. Well, as you already said, it's not for qualifying anymore. It's now about the seeding. And well, I know you've got some opinions about whether seeding matters or not, so go ahead and voice them.
Well, so at this point, seeding is, yes, you can say it makes a lot of difference. You can get further in the tournament than when you have a better seeding than when you have a worse seeding. But then at the same time, you gotta be number one. Anyway, doesn't really matter what seed you are. If you're seed 64 against seed 1, gotta take down that seed 1 at one point. Better start with it in this better go with it in the start, and then have easier matches to finish, you know?
Yeah, no, I do agree with that. I don't know. The seeding doesn't really matter that much, in my opinion, as well, especially at this level. Like, it's all going to come down to whether you can pop off, and maybe that seeding could then come down to starting off easy, getting the easy opponents out of the way, building up the momentum, and then facing the tough opponents. Well, that's all hypotheticals, and you could say that it happens that way, but in reality, it's Rocket League. You have no clue how it will go. So yeah, with that as a seeding, you just need to play well. That's it.
Well, you gotta play well regardless if you're now seed 1, seed 63, or seed 32. It doesn't really matter how many teams there are in a tournament. Even if you're that last and everybody thinks your team is full of C2s and you're actually GC3s, still gotta show them that you're GC3 and not a C2. And it's the same thing right here. One team was potentially better than the other, while and that would have been Mojitos. And why do I always say it like Mojitos?
Mojito, yeah, ¿cómo estás? Mucho gracias. Just feeling the vibe.
Yeah, but yeah, Mojitos has to actually apparently be the better team of the two. So for them to go so close against Erasmus, I hope Martini does have what it takes. Like, they were potentially seeded as the first, and the Fair Play Mojitos as second. So of course, we have Martini with Musky, Zico, and Rebel. They have not played today. We saw Fair Play Mojitos with Input, Flux, and Alco earlier. And I have to say, individually, I think Input was maybe the most silent out of those three, but Alco and Flux individually popped off in different games.
Yeah, and well, apart from just for seeding, this is also a little bit of a grudge. If you're put on the second team and somebody says to you, "Hey, look, we're putting all the best ones on that team. You are in the second team with those, and those." It's still not a bad team because they finished first and already qualified instantly. But to then beat their opposing team as well, their team that's supposedly better. Well, that's always a fun sight, a fun thought to go into to the next few games, and they're gonna still have to prove themselves. I think they might just treat it a little bit more like a scrim, like a practice going on, because as you said, I don't know whether these players are going to care about the seeding. Well, I'm still interested to see some phenomenal plays come out, nonetheless.
Well, at the same time, we still have to ask ourselves and the chat the question, who are we voting for? I went with Martini. I put 1k channel points on Martini. I want them to show up, show the world that they got seed 1 in the gauntlet rounds for a reason, and that they are going to put Mojitos back in their place.
I wish I could do the same, but unfortunately betting is blocked in my region. Well, you know what? Betting time is not over just yet. You can still predict, but we can get this matchup underway. Fair Play Martini versus Fair Play Mojitos. And this one has started. Input versus Muskie on the kickoff. 5 minutes on the score. Rebel already taking it in the air. Decent 50 by Flux, though.
Yeah, the speed immediately coming through from both teams, and even though Martini might be a little bit more cold than the Mojitos, they're already putting on show as we see Muskie almost getting a clinical goal right there, but now it is Elko putting on that pressure a little bit more. Flux goes underneath. Now Zico tries to find that midfield connection. That's definitely what they were doing nicely as well in the team of Mojitos. So I'm hoping that Martini can show the same kind of team coherence.
Hello. They definitely can show that coherence. I mean, well, it was mainly Flux who just did a solo play on the backboard, getting the double tap. Zico was just a little bit too awkward, waiting patiently. And that is a 1-goal lead for Fair Play Mojitos. 30 seconds in. It's a good start. It's definitely not the game, because as I said, there's still 4.5 minutes left to play. This is a decent kickoff for Martini. Actually, no, it will be Elko who takes control of that one. I think somebody was up for the double tap. Elko was indeed, but just does not get the angle. Zico, can he get the angle? It's off the backboard into Muskie. Muskie go for a shot and into the back of the net. It's tied up.
See, individually, I feel like the best players are indeed on Mojitos, but then at the same time, Martini, they might not have the most mechanical kind of players, but they're working nicely together. And exactly this shot is a result of that team coherency that we were talking about earlier. They did it beautifully. That pass from Muskie down over Zico down to Muskie, the follow-up on target. Nobody in defense from the Mojitos able to do something properly with it. And now once again, Muskie takes his time, gets that ball pass too. Gets that ball past everyone! Muskie, what are we doing?
How did that get past Flux? That should not be able to get past Flux there, who's just completely misrotated. To be fair, it was an absolute banger on target, and I don't know. I don't think anybody was expecting that much power coming out, and thus they will take the lead here for the first time. But also, this is only 1 minute in. I've just realized that as well. It's just 1 minute in, 3 goals already scored. We might be looking at an absolute clown fiesta here.
Well, even though we're saying that's a clown fiesta, it looks way more orchestrated than the last game. Last game was a little bit all over the place. We still see a little bit the same for the Mojitos, but right now the Martinis are showing how to work well together. Is that little bit of vodka, or wait, Martini has vodka, right?
Oh, honestly, I don't know. I'm not a big cocktail man, but to be
hold
fair,
on. I'll look it up.
Yeah, we gotta get on this, and probably think of some more names as well. Rebel, well, he's making sure that Martini comes to light even more while we're researching here as well by scoring this other goal. 3-1 now for Martini.
Well, so basically, the classical Martini is made out of gin and vermouth. I mean, so far we can definitely hear that class from the vermouth coming through from the Martini side. But I mean, if you're more like a gin, if you're not really a gin kind of person, you can apparently replace that with vodka. So I think right now we're seeing both sides, best of both worlds, just coming together. Because the mechanics, yes, they also have mechanics, but they mainly have that team play. And that team play can only come through when you're on the same page with everyone.
You really need to be online, in the same line with your teammates, seeing where they position themselves on the field, know what to expect from your teammates as well. If you're going to be expecting Rebel to all of a sudden pull off a triple tap Musty or something like that, well, he could do it, but it's maybe more likely that he won't be able to pull that off, so you need to position yourself just in case he does not manage to do so. It's incredibly important to manage expectations. That's basically all that Rocket League is managing expectations. And Muskie, oh my word, he's almost managing his expectation perfectly and getting that one through. If you know where to position yourself, you also know what to expect.
Yeah, and we were saying that Martini does not really have the brightest mechanics, but then at the same time, I have to eat my words every time again. If we see Muskie going for those kind of things, he was almost able to get that flip reset and actually just use that flip reset in order to drop down the ball. But this time around, Flux, he comes very risky into position as the third man in the rotation, but still able to get there, get that shot on target, and that's a beautiful performance from the Mojitos.
And now we're getting within 1 goal as well. They're getting closer to Fair Play Martini. It's obviously a 2-goal deficit. It is 3v3, so it's a bit tough to come back from, but definitely not impossible. Maybe directly with this kickoff as input, fakes that one. Elko is right there just to try and steal the goal. Does not manage to do so. There we go. That's an equalizer.
I mean, as I sometimes say, slow and steady wins the race, and I feel like that is the approach that we are seeing from the Mojitos a little bit more. They took their time, they're getting into the game, they're feeling out what Martini is doing. Martini was able to strike 3 times in a row fairly quickly, but now they were stopped. They are not getting any other opportunities, and the Mojitos, they definitely want to take this home. And now it is Zico getting that ball into the front. Flux is still there, does get another touch. Sadly enough, not a touch from the back ball, but there is Rabble, can't get a touch and input. He just dives in, but he does get rewarded.
Oh, we're fair play, Martini. What has happened here? They've just completely thrown a 2-goal lead and are actually down a goal now. And that happened in the space of 30 seconds. I don't even know how they got down a goal in that quick of a time. And they're going to have to try and make the comeback now. And I don't know, because they might be a little bit less experienced in the game. They might have struggles keeping up the momentum and trying to play to their strengths as soon as they are ahead. And thus, well, Mojito, they will be able to make the comeback and put another one in the goal as well. They're just popping off now.
Yeah, right now they're also getting like way more space compared to when they had to play Erasmus. And I mean, we said it earlier, Alco and Flux have been those two to pop off for the Mojitos, and right now they're doing the exact same thing. They're taking their time, realize where to be, and then they're just taking their shot very calm and collected. And that's of course what you have to do, even if you are playing like against a team like that. Oh no!
What? Heartbreaking. That is incredibly heartbreaking. How did that not go in? That would have been a beautiful play from Fair Play Martini. Well, they get denied by the post and the crossbar. Double deny coming out. It seems like me in high school trying to date. And Zico, he might be able to get one in. Oh, Muskie. They're just being denied all around.
This time around it is Rabble though.
They're just flinking around with their mechanics. Where is that Fair Play Makini?
Fair Play Bikini. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Feeling it now, babe.
But yeah, I mean, we saw a lot more coherence, a lot more passing plays from that team, and now it's the polar opposite. Mojitos are just throwing with their passes, and Rebel not able to get that ball on target. Sadly enough, it does take a little bit as we now see the ball dropping down as Input plays it underground, but Game 1, very strong performance from both teams. It is just the Mojitos that came out on top after a very, very strong comeback.
Yeah, a very strong comeback indeed. And Fair Play Martini, they're probably kicking themselves for that one a little bit as well. Because on shots, they were very similar. We've got 10 shots coming out and 9 shots from Fair Play Martini. So in theory, it should just come down to accuracy, and that is the case as well. It's unfortunate for Fair Play Martini here, but as we said, it is the seed decider, and it is only the first game. And in the beautiful words of Gvastrian, the first game is for the children. The pancake is for the children.
I mean, you always throw. Well, no, you don't throw away that first pancake, but like, if you compare your first pancake compared to all the rest, it looks a little bit like an alien and has those weird spots. It's a little bit all over the place, but it's basically to make your pan a little bit greasy and then set yourself up for the rest. And I guess that's the same thing, the same idea that he was going for, saying that it was for the children.
Yeah. You definitely don't want to throw the pancake away. That's just unfortunate. That's good pancake usage, even though it might not taste the same. It's still a pancake. Like, come on, we're dealing with a pancake here that you don't just throw away. Well, Fair Play Martini, they have got that first pancake. Now you need to get the other ones as well. You need to get an entire stack, obviously, and then to top it all off, get some beautiful plays, and that will be the butter or whatever on top. And that's what they need to get. We want to see some beautiful plays. Because the seed is debatable, but the beautiful plays are always class.
I think we have a little bit of an oopsie, because the Mojitos won, and it's not the Martinis. Huh. Oh, that would have been beautiful. Oh no, I said it a little bit too soon.
They fixed it. We can't scam.
Well, you got scammed. I didn't.
Well, I mean, we're in the same casting booth, so like, when I get scammed, you get scammed.
I mean, I still knew that Mojitos won. Now what?
Yeah. Well, I mean, well, it's just a matter of opinion, basically, right? You can kind of decide if you think 3 is greater than 5 all of a sudden, then Martini still won, right? Oh, Rebel, you definitely win my heart with that fake. Oh my word, that was beautiful.
See, that's why you don't have to date in high school. You still have Rebel to make it all through. No, but so that's a beautiful performance from the Martinis. Definitely after that game 1, that first pancake, that was a little bit of a miscreation. Throwing away that lead, they're now in it. They want to win it, they want to keep on their lead, and Rebel goes over Imper, ball into the center. Elko not able to get a touch, but now it is Flux with a reaction. Goes with a counter edge Rebel as Zico plays that ball to the side. Elko still there, goes high into the air. Doesn't get that ball past Muskie though, who's now trying to follow it up, but Rebel is there. Ball goes over, Zico does get a touch. Flux was there to try and score it. Now Muskie down to Rebel. Rebel, ball into the corner. Does try to follow it up himself right now, but input is there. Sadly enough, the connection from the Mojitos, it's not really connecting too much, as it's a very long clear. So we now see a flick from Muskie. Rebel not able to get it, but there's still an opportunity. Not taken care of.
Fair play, Martini. They're holding on incredibly well here. They still have that 1 goal lead, so they don't really need to be scoring. They just need to be holding on. Zico is forced to rotate back. Rebel gets it into the center. There's nobody there though, and allows input at a lot of space. Gets demoed. No, he had the space, but now he's in heaven. R.I.P. my man. Muskie, 30 boost. Can he get that one into the center with a flick? Yes, he can, but where's Fair Play Martini? They're just playing incredibly far back. I guess it doesn't matter because Rebel will just shoot on an undefended net.
I mean, this is Fair Play Martini as we saw them, and it's probably that gin that hasn't dried out fully yet. But yeah, I mean, as the game goes on, I hope that gin stays moist enough so they can keep scoring, because the Mojitos, they definitely put up a very solid first game. But right now, it is the Martinis that have to show up. They were claimed that first seed. They have to show us what it takes in order to make that first seed in the, well, overall season rounds.
Fair play, Martini. Two goals up, and they're just trying to prove a point here. They're just trying to get this back onto their own half, and they will get a 3-goal lead. The last time they threw a 2-goal lead, so it's only less likely that they throw a 3-goal lead now as well, right?
I mean, never say never. As I mean, the chess game isn't over until you've broken the other team's mental game. That's usually how it is. And right now, the mental game from the Fair Play Martini, and this is something that Gavestion also said like last series, is like the moment you're up ahead, you're up 3 games, you're going to try and go a little bit too much for the fancy. You're going to be put on your plays, and I feel like that is also what we saw in game 1 from the Fair Play Martini, where Mojitos was just like, okay boys, fair enough, you had your fair share of fun, now we're just going to strike back, get that defense completely obliterated, and get some goals in.
Defense is being obliterated right now, but as we've seen in the previous one, the comeback potential is still very much on, and Fair Play Mojitos, they just need to get it going. They just need to get those offensive pressures and those mechanics rolling, because that is what they're quicker in. They're a little bit quicker on the mechanics. Team play wise, I'd say Fair Play Martini is better, but the individual talent is on the side of Fair Play Mojitos, and they just need to be able to come up with a game plan to actually put that to use. As this is also just such a good team play once again by Rebel. So smart.
Yeah, and that is the thing that we also saw in that first game that was really making the difference between Martini and Mojitos. Those very small interaction plays between the team players. Like Fair Play Mojitos, of course, they go for passes themselves. They sometimes get opportunities, but it can be a little bit better. These passes from the Fair Play Martini side, they're just very close to each other. They come very unexpected, but they know what's going on. They know what's happening. They know what the plan is. But the Mojitos don't, and that's why they're taken off guard.
Yeah, they're just caught off guard by the smartness of Martini. And the 50s coming out, just proving to be dominant. And that is always a lovely showcase of how Rocket League can be played as well. Somebody who doesn't really go for flashy mechanics, or an entire team that doesn't really go for flashy mechanics, yet still have a 4-goal lead, and they're even messing about here as well. This double commit, and the pre-jump was coming out as well. Now Ioka might be able to get a shot on target. Yes, he will. And please tell me that that double commit isn't the start of a massive comeback.
I mean, I kind of want to say no, but then at the same time, I feel like it might be, because we saw Fair Play Mojitos bounce back very, very quickly last game. Yeah, even turning it around from a 1-3 to 5-3 in, I think, the matter of a minute and a half. So right now, 40 seconds on the clock. They, need to, never mind. It's never gonna happen.
Oh my word, this fumbling in front of the net, it always makes me cringe a little bit. It always makes me awkward. Flux, he was just... he just had a very awkward save where he couldn't do as much. He hit it... He basically pinched it with the post, and now with 30 seconds left... 30 seconds left. It's pretty much game over, as you said. And Rebel, he's trying to go for those fancy mechanics. He might be listening to the stream. I'm listening to us say, well, they've not got fancy mechanics and trying to show us one. Well, we're going to have to see how the next game goes, because obviously this one is already decided.
This one might be decided, and as Rebel would have been able to bounce that one into the net, that would have been just an absolute beauty. But right now, it's fair play. I mean... Oh my god. I was gonna say fair play in this chance that it goes 1-1, and then I just realized that I made a very bad pun without realizing it.
Oh, those are the worst. Well, you're really genuinely disappointed in yourself, I feel you.
Yep. If only I knew I was going to make that pun, then it would have been alright, but...
Yeah.
Right now, what do we do with it?
Probably just move on. Just as when you score an own goal, kind of, you just leave that in the past as soon as you can. Try and forget, because why pay for therapy when you can just forget things, right?
I mean, you just usually laugh it off if I own goal. Yeah. It's like, oh, what a banger! And then start laughing, and then, oh, next goal. Next moment, next 2 minutes and a half, because usually you kind of want to keep that game very low scoring, keep it to like, what, 2 goals, 3 goals maximum inside the game. Definitely, like that's more the EU style that we're seeing. NA is more about very dynamic, trying to be as solid as possible in offense, not really caring all too much about defense, and that's why we sometimes see those 9-goal kind of games coming back quite a lot.
Honestly, that is probably the more exciting way to play Rocket League, though. As much as I do love the intricate play of the EU scene, sometimes I just love to watch Monkey Brain, to watch people go at the ball as quick as they can and see what they'll end up with, see how they can defend in the end, because it'll be diving saves at that point, and it'll just be a very close matchup. No matter how it really goes, you can just completely go another way, and upsets are probably more likely to happen as well.
I mean, I think right now we really saw an upset. Because people said, of course, like we said at the start, that one team was better than the other, was greater in terms of skill. But so far, I have to say that they're actually equally matched. So, I mean, just give them about the same seed. If you have 32 teams, give one seed 15, the other one seed 16, and I think you're settled.
True. As soon as the quicker you can start getting things going, the quicker you'll be settled. Well, we're going to have to see how this second game settles as we try and get this one underway as well. It's been not really exciting matches except for the first one when the comeback happened. But apart from that, it's just kind of been one team popping off, destroying the next one, destroying them, and then averaging that out. The other team popping off for a second. It's not really both of them popping off, and that's what I want to see in this game.
Well, right now it's a very neutral start. They don't really take too much control. They don't take too much aggression, and Rebel doesn't really get the touchy knees, but does get the ball once again from Zico, and that's very quick, very close 1-1 play that we have been talking about in the past game as well. But right now this is an opportunity. Alco this time around in the Dominus for the first time this evening, I think, as he right now has to try and show up. He and Flux, of course, were those 2 guys to watch out for that we already put a target on their back. So maybe I actually want to see a little bit from Input. You know, be that dark horse, come out of nowhere and strike Fair Play Martini when it hurts.
It always got to pick out those weak spots in the defense. See where you can strike. Because if you're just going to be shooting cleanly on target, where there's a defender there, well, it's most of the time going to be saved, except for when the defender is awkward on the sidewalls. Zico, he spots his opportunity, and he grabs his opportunity.
Well, this was a beautiful start for Fair Play Martini, and I think right now we could say that the first half is always Fair Play's Martini half, and the second half is for the Mojitos to come back. So I think right now, if we're talking in terms of game plans, for the Mojitos it would be try and eliminate as much pressure as possible in this early scene until you're like in position in the midfield, you're locked in. As we see Alco trying to go for a, well, I think breezy kind of flick. It more looked like a musty, but still the side turn makes it a breezy, right?
I honestly don't know. All the flicks that are invented, Jazer flick and everything like that, they're just all flicks to me. I don't discriminate. I don't make any differences. They're all just flicks, and I love them all the same. That's my standpoint on it.
Well, fair enough, but here is Muskie with a beautiful play.
Wait!
Yeah, it was Muskie's, I was gonna say.
Wait, no, but somebody jumped for that. Did Rebel redirect this one in? Yes, he did.
Wait, did he?
Yeah, assisted by Rebel. Surely Rebel hit that one in. I'm confused. It looked as if Rebel hit that one down. I mean, Muskie got the finishing touch for sure, but it looked as if Rebel actually managed to pop that one down. I could be mistaken because everything moves so quickly, and even in the replay, I had a tough time seeing it. But oh my word.
I mean, I have to say though, the Martinis are definitely locked in. They know what to do. They, again, still don't really look too comfortable with their mechanics, but they can do what they have to do. They can carry the ball over a defensive player from the Mojitos. They can get a flip reset when they really need to, but besides that, their positioning is just amazing. And if they keep going like this, I feel like the Mojitos are going to have a hard time, because Martini is just slowly learning that chaos that is in the Mojito side. Because again, we said it last series as well, it feels very chaotic, both teams not really fully understanding how to rotate. And still coming away with it.
And they're getting away with it. They've also got so much pressure, and especially on the side of Fair Play Martini, they just kind of lock Mojitos in here. And a double commit coming in on the sidewall as well. They do manage to deal with it. Well, Rebel, Muskie, and Zico, they're just lining up, waiting to go for the ball. And they want to hold on to this lead. They want to prove a point as Muskie takes it up into the air. Can he get a second touch? He
oh my!
The ceiling, drops it down. Not down far enough as Hiko. He's just waiting back. He's chilling. He's vibing. He's got a cup of tea in his hand, and he's just waiting patiently.
Well, right now, it is the opportunity that Fair Play Martini has been waiting for. This time around, if they can strike in that second half and score, it means they kind of lifted their curse that we were facing right now. But it is input with a shot on target. Muskie goes in for the save. Ball still into their own corner. Can't really get a flick anymore as he already jumped from the ball. Thought it was going to be a little bit sooner and Zico gets outpaced. Now it's Rebel. Has to get the touch. Ball goes high. Now, what can he do? A little bit of time created. Zico doesn't go for the demo. It's also a respectable decision. But that's where I feel like the Martinis could definitely still improve. Get a little bit more physical with Mojitos as they're already that chaotic.
Yeah, the Fair Play Martini really bait Mojitos in that down and dirty play style and make it confusing. It's so hard to play against because, well, you sometimes just don't expect it. This you should have expected the Rebel with a shot, and I don't know who it was on the save. Well, whoever it was should have made it.
Well, I think Martini has lifted the curse. That's something that we can successfully say right now, as they are 3-0 up. Fair Play Mojitos. They had a very solid game one. Probably the Erasmus game gave them a lot of confidence, but right now, even though that Martini is strongly on top, I feel like Mojitos can be the better team with, well, a slightly bit of coaching or just reviewing the replays with the three of them.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, what's going on the side of Fair Play Mojitos, obviously they also know that they've already qualified, and that always takes the edge off. It makes you try hard a little bit less, because when I'm playing casual or something, when it doesn't really matter for me, then Well, I'm not going to try. I'm going to be doing stupid stuff and just committing at an awkward time. So I don't know how much they can actually get out of the replay. Well, it seems as if Fair Play Martini, they're still trying, and it's paying dividends for them as well. They might be able to get a further Muskie. Ooh, that is spicy.
At this point, you really just wonder what happened in that game 1 that Mojitos just got so many opportunities.
Honestly, don't know. Maybe Fair Play Martini said enough. We're not having this anymore, and we are going right now.
Well, they're definitely going, and here with dropping that ball,
They secure game 2. I mean, honestly, they already secured game 2. There's no way that Mojitos could have won that one anymore, but dominance is definitely one way to express this. We only had 3 shots from Mojitos, and honestly, that says a lot to me.
Yeah, it really does. Oh my word, they're not able to break out at all. Fair Play Martini doing such a great job keeping Mojitos on their side of the field, making sure they have no chance of breaking out whatsoever. And Muskie, he's coming in massive as well. 7 shots, only 2 converted. Well, it's completely fine as long as you have the shots. Able to convert enough, because obviously it wasn't really necessary since Mojito, they scored nothing at all. It's a little bit unfortunate to see Mojito sit back that much. Even because they've already qualified, it would still be a good practice. And well, I just saw the replay again, and I really do think that Rebel touched that one down.
I mean, he got some sort of touch on it. He didn't touch it down as an inside and out. Muskie still had to finish it well, but oh my, this is definitely quite a series that we treated to, because 2 more wins for Martini and they get the first seed. 3 more wins for Mojitos in order to get the first seed in their name, but honestly, I feel like that Martini is just locked in at this point.
Yes, well, for sure, that Fair Play is going to make it through. Martini, they still need 2 more, as you've just said. Martini, it's going to be a tough road if Mojito decide to actually start showing up. And Muskie able to go for a shot off the bat. Easy save by Oko, though that was right on him. Can he convert this into the attack as well? 30 boosts left in the tank, gets a flipper take, gets it over 1 as well. But Zico on the backboard clears that out.
Well, this is of course a very important positioning. The backboard defense, the moment the ball goes to the backboard, it goes over the first defender or the defender on the back line. It becomes very dangerous, and here a double commit from the side from Martini, a little bit unorthodox in their box. But I mean, you know, if it works, it works. But this banger from Alco, it will not be saved.
420 as well, very nice. Epic funny coming in as well. It was just a very good redirect, and Muskie actually with a backflip could have been saving that one, but I think it was off the backboard a little bit earlier than he was expecting to, and thus they will go down 1 goal. And Fair Play Martini, they're looking to make that comeback for sure, and looking to make it already. But Rebel, the hit off the wall was just a little bit too weak. Input, what can you do with that? He's 60 boots to just air dribble across the field or try and block Zico at least, but now still a shot comes in. No, Rebel just soaring past that ball. Surely Flux can redirect this one in. I say surely not,
I mean, in all fairness, we believe in the best ability of the players, and of course that's our starting point. We don't expect them to miss those kind of things, as right now Muskie does have to go into defense. But this is a very recurrent team. Martini does use that opportunity a lot. We see them trying to set up plays. Same thing here. Muskie is outplayed. He tries to look for that midfield pass to Zico, to Rebel potentially, in order to get a counter-attack going, as they do it right now. Zico right there behind the ball does get outplayed. Muskie demo, and right now it is Rebel that has to make the difference. Gets that ball past Flux. Flux gets bumped into that one from Input. So this is a very, very awkward scenario created by Martini for Mojitos.
And that is what Martini's thrive in, the awkward scenarios where Mojitos don't really know what to do anymore, don't know where to position themselves. And Martini, they've really set the pace of most games. As soon as Mojitos take that back, I think they can just completely clean out Martini. But as soon as they lose the control of the pace of the game, lose the control of where they want to position themselves, that's where it all goes wrong, and that's where Fair Play Martini just completely shines. And now Muskie trying to get something going as well. He tried to flick Flux out. Flux doesn't want to have anything to do with the Rebel. He's been missing a lot. He needs to get more consistent.
Well, consistency is key, but right now we are approaching that halfway mark of the game, and then once more a double commit. But this time around, it does create an opportunity as Rebel gets that one into the center once more, tries to get that ball there, as he right now does get a beautiful touch pass. Elko, but input is still there. The follow-up is quick. It's swift. He wants to do something else, but he gets it past one. But there is still Zico in the corner. He's able to read that ball perfectly, and that is what we need to see. Reading the ball with a lot of time, a little bit of space in order to put it to a position that you want.
And good block coming out here from Muskie, going off the ceiling to do so, but then the touch from Zico's a little bit too far forward. He scrambles to get the second touch as well to make sure the shot is blocked. It's only a 1-goal game, so obviously that means that 1 goal will get Fair Play Martini right back in it. Rebel finally gets a decent touch, and they need that 1 goal as well. I'm sure they're wanting to close this one out as quick as possible as well. Actually, they only have a limited say in that, and Flux, he might be able to get an opportunity here. No, Zico closes that distance very nicely to make sure that a shot doesn't come on target, but it's getting scary for Fair Play Martini. Mojitos, they're slowly advancing.
Well, the advance has to go a little bit quicker though, because here we get a counter response from Mojitos. The 2-0 is established from a dominant performance to a, I mean, what do we call this though?
Debatable performance, very debatable. Yes. That's always when you're in a questionable position, just say it's debatable, because you say it's debatable, you don't want to argue with that point though. You don't want to argue at all. You just say it's weird, it's odd, and once again move on.
Well, we move on, we bounce back, and right now it is for Rebel to get that ball into the corner. Does try to follow it up, but this time around it is still Flux. Gets that ball past one, gets that ball past two. Ball now rolling into their own corner as, yeah, Rebel does try and put himself for a cocktail punch, gets it, but no real pressure found by that. And that is, of course, once again what we're talking about. We don't feel that connection between the players at this moment, and Flux just gets in the third one.
And with that goal going in, that might be the nail in the coffin, and the fat lady singing. Obviously, it's not completely decided yet. Zico, you kind of had a guessing game there, not really sure what to do there. It's looking as if Mojitos will take this one home as well, equalize up the series, and then all of a sudden, the winner of that one will go on to a match point. So the next one will be an incredibly important one.
Next game is going to be important. Again, same thing as we said in the last series. First one to lock it into a match point is one step closer to close it out completely. But right now, with 11 seconds to go, I think Martini just want 1 goal to build momentum, but right now they don't really get it. Zico does drop that ball into the midfield. Elko is still there. Ball to the back ball. Flux down to Elko. Flux, what were you doing there?
Just chilling, just being on the backboard, and this is what I mean. Fair Play Mojitos, they're getting a little bit ridiculous, and you don't want them to be a little bit ridiculous, especially not when it actually works out for them, because Fair Play Mojitos, what a shot that was, and what a play to end that off. And obviously Martini was looking for that momentum going into the next one, but now Mojitos have got, they've already won the game, and a phenomenal goal at the end there as well. It's going to be interesting to see how they can advance this.
Well, we always go forward. It's one way or the other. Either it's Mojitos that comes first, or it is Martini that comes first. In the end, they both did their student city proud, and I mean, you can't really complain at that point, can you?
Yeah, no, I mean, they both made it through, both from the same city. Whichever one gets on top now, you're going to have to be very nitpicky if you're like, oh no, but we actually wanted to be that team on the first sheet. No, it doesn't matter. They both made it through. That is the most important part. You cannot compete if you don't make it through. And now they can actually show themselves going into the European scene for sure. which they'll be doing it from. It might get decided in this game if they can get the momentum going, but I don't think it will be decided. We've for sure got 2 more games on the card here, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a game 7 as well here.
I mean, a game 7 is the ideal scenario. That means 3 more games, a good Rocket League, hopefully. And the only way that we will see that is Martini regains their strength, regains their form, goes for those passing plays that they have been strong about, and don't try to do too much fancy as the Mojitos can.
And they need to be quicker. They need to be a little bit more onto Mojitos. Don't not give them the time. Now, okay, you read this play perfectly, and that is so dangerous. If you do those plays, if they get intercepted, if they get red, well, this is what happens.
I mean, we had debatable for the last game. I think at this point we are moving on to the questionable side.
Very questionable. Yes.
Because that start was like, how did they ever win 2 games kind of vibe, you know? But this is why they won 3 games!
This is how they got 2 games. This right here, they just play it immediately. Say, oh, you were wondering? Well, here's how we got it, baby.
See, and that is of course the beauty of being a caster. Every time you think like one team is completely out of the running, and then they bounce back out of nowhere. You're like, well then, this is not what I anticipated, and then the game just becomes way more interesting right here. For example, Alco realizes he can't go for the ball. Rebel does get past 1, doesn't get past 2, but right now he makes it hard. Muskie gets another shot on target. Flux is there with the save. Now Zico. Ball pinched into the corner as we now see input spawning on that side. This is very awkward for the Mojitos. Flux gets that ball to the side, but hey, hip, hey, hooray. Zico was there, but he did get outplayed.
Ooh, very nice. Little rhyming schemes. We're in the rapping booth here instead. Muskie, he's like a husky, trekking it to the other side. No fusky. Don't question it.
I mean, I'm not questioning. I'm going along with it as Rabble tries to take the torch and scorch the other side of the field, but sadly enough, it doesn't work that way. The Mojitos, I mean, it's in the end a liquid. They can extinguish fire, but there is Zico. Does get another beautiful touch, but right now it is Alco. What can he do with it? Goes for a controlled touch, sends that ball to the side. And outplays 1 player from the side from Martini that way. Well,
oh my word of no!
Oh my
Once
god!
again, we're back to the question: how did they get 2 games on the board here? How did they get 2 games? Rebel with a bit of an unfortunate 50, and I think Zico just didn't see it coming. Muskie, I don't really know what happened there. Well, yeah, that was not beautiful to watch.
I mean, as they say from time to time, panic is your worst enemy, and in Rocket League that's definitely the case. Defense, you can't play defense if you're panicked. The moment you panic too quickly, you go in rushing for a certain touch, you're going to get outplayed no matter what. But right now, it is of course Alco that does get a beautiful touch. Zico right here does get an extension, but it is Flux that does get an opportunity. Now Muskie into the side. Can he get this one on target? He gets that one into the midfield, gets that bump, and Rebel wasn't open up, but still, placement was on target.
It was very speedy as well. He was coming in very hot, and trusting his teammate to bump the last defender out of the way, and that is exactly what's important in Rocket League, the trust. And that's what they had, and they have equalized. They're showing basically what I said in the first game as well, where it's, at one point, one team pops off, the other time, the other team pops off. It's a little bit unfortunate because you're never really going to get that high octane Rocket League where everybody moves incredibly quickly across the pitch, incredibly close chances at every single opportunity, and just on the line saves and everything like that. Because Muskie, it was almost his time to pop off. It gets saved by Elko. It's going to be a close matchup, and it all comes down to who can pop off at the right moment.
And right now, it doesn't feel like there's only been 2 minutes and 50 seconds gone. It almost feels like we have seen an entire game already, but right now the Mojitos and Martinis are giving us the showdown of the drinks. Which one of the 2 is better? They have separate votes. It's 2 against 2 in both ways, 2 and 2. And this game, 2 against 2 in the series. And Muskie does get a brilliant save right here. Now it is Elko into the midfield. Flux is there. Skyrockets that ball as Zico now gets that follow-up, gets that pass input. Kind of dunked his own ball, but now it is Rebel that does get a good follow-up on this one. Can he outplay Elko? Elko is still there with a good 50. And now Zico gives Muskie a potential setup for an airplay. But boys, don't forget, the Mojitos know how to play in the air. So you kind of want to stay on that ground passing play.
Yeah, you want to move across the ground at a rapid pace. With that, you have to slot it in with your team perfectly. If one component in that passing play is off, well, this is what happened. Zico, he completely whiffed. Luckily for him, Muskie was still behind. But if one component is off, it all of a sudden doesn't work anymore. And Rebel, you got that to the center perfectly. And then Muskie was behind, and they do take the lead.
Yeah, right here is a little bit panic versus panic. We saw that last goal going in. Because Elko panicked a little bit, he thought he didn't have time. That shot was immediately going to be on target, so he had to kind of pre-jump that one. In the end, he got bamboozled by the game. But same thing can be said in the last goal we saw from Fair Play Mojitos, where I think it was Zico himself as well that panicked a little bit in defense. So hey, back and forth trading between panic, I can live with that.
Yeah, as long as one team has a lead and then there's a little bit of suspense actually going into this. Oh my word, that is exactly what I mean. Because otherwise it wouldn't have really mattered that much if one team had just had a massive lead, whether Elko was going to score that. Well, this was a phenomenal attempt, and he gets another one here as well. Tries to get it into the center, into Flux, and gets it on target, but it's a save by Muskie. Now Rebel 91 boost with a Muskie. Maybe into Muskie here, and indeed into Muskie. Rebel, he's just hitting that one back, and that's very smart once again, because there's only 15 seconds left. You just need to hold on. You don't really need to score. It does not matter how many goals you put into the back of the net anymore, as long as you manage to hold off the one final attempt that the opponent might have. And this is a very good touch by Rebel. That's going to throw the entire defense for a little bit of a curveball with Flux. He doesn't really have any boost to extend that, and Zico will hit that to the ground, and Fair Play Martini will take home the third game for themselves, or basically the fifth game, and put themselves on match point.
I mean, this is well played for Martini, and at the same time, we do have to give them credit. The ending on that game was just incredible. We saw the same fair play in Martini that I loved, really. Like, they were playing well together, getting those touches back and forth. Not only forwards kind of passes, sometimes also a back pass into a forwards pass once more, and it creates a lot of awkward opportunities that the Mojitos don't know how to deal with, that they don't know how to respond to. But, yeah, they just have to keep steady on that feeling, on that kind of momentum play style, and I feel like they would definitely take that last game as well.
Yeah, they're looking good. They've got the momentum now, and this is where I guess we're going to see whether momentum actually is a thing that matters in this game. It obviously is, but they've also got time to reset that momentum. They have a little bit of time in between the games to try and get things going, a little bit of time to actually think about what's going on, what's happened, how they can improve their play style, how they can look back on themselves and get into the next one a lot stronger. And that is something that we'll get into right away. Not too much fussing, not too much messing about. Just straight up Rocket League, no messing about anymore. We might be headed into this final game. Fair Play Martini versus Fair Play Mojitos, and this is all for seeding.
Well, for seeding purposes, it of course would make sense. If Martini comes out on top, they are one game away. Mojitos, on the other hand, they have played incredible so far tonight, but they need 2 more wins in order to show us that they are the C1 of the Netherlands. But right now, it is Flux immediate with that pressure. Now Elko does take a little bit more time, goes into the air solo, but Zico is already up. Does get outplayed though. Elko can't get the flip reset, but Muskie has passed one. Can't get past Flux, so the follow-ups from the Mojitos is definitely getting better as well. They improved throughout this series, but this is
going on?
Rocket League. Mojitos is still alive.
This is absolutely terrible. Oh, Muskie. I don't know what happened here for Fair Play Mojitos. Martini scores somehow on the 420 mark once again. They're just epic pranksters. Well, I don't know what was going on in the backline from Mojitos there. That was not beautiful to watch.
Well, 4 minutes and 18 seconds remaining. The Martini side is up by 1. That is, of course, their most favorable position to be in. And Rebel right now, 1-on-1 against Alco. Does get a beautiful 50. Alco can't get that ball forwards as Zico immediately dives in. Keeps that pressure alive. Now Flux outplayed. Input there with the follow-up. Goes underneath it. Muskie still with the save. And right now, he gets a lot of space. He also gets the boost. Alco can't really keep him there. And with that in mind, it goes back and forth. I feel like Martini, even though they're getting some misses in, still has the momentum.
And they've also got the first goal, and once again they're back in the same position where they just have to hold on to that lead. They just have to hold on. It's an incredibly long time that you have to hold on for, but it still remains the same. And Rebel, you're not going to be able to hold on with misses like that. Zico comes into the rescue and hits the ball further away, but it's Elko on the other side. It's triple commit. Oh my word, fair play Martini. They're getting fancy with it. A beautiful triple commit, obviously tripling the chances that they score the goal as well. Rebel, you only demoed input just after input already got the clear, and I just do want to clarify, I don't actually think that triple committing triples your chances of getting a good clear out.
Well, that might be the case, but right now it is still the Martinis that, even though they're rushing a little bit on the pitch, have control. They know what they want to do. They know how to keep it alive. The physical plays, the damos coming through. Now the back pass from Muskie down to Rebel. Rebel plays that ball into the corner when nobody is from the Mojito side. Does get a beautiful read right here. Muskie, shot on target. The 2-0 is established. And yes, the lead is for the Martinis.
And the lead once again lengthened, made bigger by Fair Play Martini. And this might just be that momentum that they're slowly running away with it. Obviously, we've seen that first game where Fair Play Mojitos were able to get their heads together and actually made the comeback. Whereas in the other games, we've not really seen that the same. They've not really been able to get that going like they were before. Rebel tries to pass it mid. There's nobody there to pass it to, so it will be input. Controls the ball. Zico with an early challenge. That's something they're doing so well with mechanical players. What you always want to do is shut them down instantly, shut them down quickly, and that is something that Martini is doing incredibly well.
Well, Martini is doing this incredible. They now need to survive for 2 more minutes in order to keep this one alive. As now it is Flux into the corner, gets a pass one, gets a bullet in the midfield, but there's still Muskie with the clear. Ooh, Elko does not get the touch he needs right now as it's now Flux getting that ball on the way to the other side as Elko is still there. But now Muskie leaves this one for Zico. The follow-up play is strong, but here is an opportunity for the Mojitos. Elko goes low, goes for the bump. Oh, and he can't get the flick on target. That is painful because it could have been so beautiful.
It could have been. It always hurts when you have a beautiful play lined up. Everything is going smoothly except that final bit. I sometimes don't even know what to say here. Zico got it past. Tries to go for something incredibly weird. Somehow it baits Elko in. And Rebel just gets the shot on target. 3-goal lead. 1 minute 27 remaining. It's going to be very tough.
Well, I mean, tough is sometimes how we like it, and I think the Mojitos have shown that in the past that they can come up with comebacks that just blow you away. But the Martini side, they are playing it very controlled, very collected. They are going for 50s most of the time, even though they have no boost. They stay behind that ball because they realize if we give the Mojito space, they're going to be able to bounce back, and that's the last thing they want right now.
If Fair Play Mojitos manage to bounce back in this final minute, then I'm just calling it already. Then Fair Play will just take this one home completely, because a 3-goal lead in the final minute, that is gutting scenes. That is absolutely terrible to get against you. And then the momentum will just be down in the dumps. And Rebel is looking to extend the 10 boost left in that tank. It will be able to grab the corner boost that's just getting left there. Fair Play Martini, they're doing a good job at keeping this ball in the opposing half, and thus not really having Mojitos create any chances.
Well, I think at this point we can call it settled. The Martinis, they have shown everybody at home why they were the seed 1 throughout the current league, or the main league of the Netherlands, or the Dutch student scene. And Honestly, though, they lived up to my expectations. Sometimes it was a little bit messy, but you can't expect a gun like the Martinis to be firing without any problem the entire time.
Yeah, you can't play at the top of your ability every single time, and as we've already established, it's for the seeding, so you don't really know how much they're going to care about it. So yeah, it's Fair Play Martini will have the better seeding now. We'll go above Fair Play Mojitos. Whether it's intentional or whatever, whether Mojitos didn't really try, that's something I guess we'll never know. We do know the result, and that is Fair Play Martini taking his own 4-2. And just in general, apart from looking whether Mojitos actually tried or whatever, Martini were looking solid. They had a very nice passing plays, great communication at times as well, and we're just in general moving the ball across the field very well.
Yeah, and they did it splendidly. And then in the end, this is of course the result that I guess we could say was as expected. Because of course seed 4 was Erasmus coming into today. There usually would be a close match to seed 3. Which was Twente Blue. Twente Blue did get taken out by Erasmus. Then it was, of course, the Mojitos that did a incredible performance against Erasmus, because Erasmus, they were locked in at one point, but in the end, they were able to bring it to fair play all the way.
Yes, sir. Fair play all the way indeed. And oh my word, it seems like we have Face in here as well. To our right, so let's see whether we can actually get him into the VC as well, because he's sitting there and he's laughing, he's having a grand old time, but we're not actually in the ability to talk to him.
Well, it's maybe gonna take a little bit of time. I mean, he's a busy man. You have to understand. If you are, of course, overseeing all the teams from Fair Play Mistini, you gotta do what you gotta do. It sometimes takes a little bit of a time, and right now, real question is though, Hyperion, like, he's the manager. He's also a very good coach. He also coaches a team like the Knight, for example. So, real question is, how does he still have time to supervise these teams from Fair Play?
Oh, well, he's here, so we can ask him right now. Face, welcome. We saw your cam earlier already working.
Yes.
Well, you're actually in here now. Welcome. Good to see you. How are you doing today?
Well, this could have not been a better day, right? We send out 2 teams to participate in the Dutch National College League, and we get first and second. So that's like a dream come true, I would say.
For sure. And well, is there between these teams? Obviously, they're are they mixed, or is it kind of a best team scenario and not a worst team, because they're both absolutely phenomenal? But did you have to put them together in skill grip?
So initially, we put them I just asked the players that all wanted to play, like, okay, send me your 2s rank and 3 rank currently and from the previous season, and then I mixed those 2 together, and I just sorted by highest to lowest, and that's how I made these teams. And Elko had the highest rating, so that was the higher rated team. But Muskie came in later when the teams were already formed, and we're like, well, okay, then Muskie, you can because he's buddies with Rebel, I think. So I was like, yeah, you can just join Rebel's team, and Falcon becomes a sub because he had the lowest points out of everybody. And apparently Muskie's pretty good.
Apparently.
I mean, pretty good. It might be an understatement. He definitely did well, and I mean, I know that your way of coaching, we see it as well in the Night, is all about finding each other on the field, getting that communication. Were you also a part in that for the side of Martini? Because we definitely saw the moment that they shine and that they come through is all because of those passing plays. Were you also a part of that?
So credit is due to the people that deserve it. I have had not a single coaching session with either team, so this is all of them, 100%.
And then a player like Muskie, obviously a higher rated player or a phenomenal player, does he kind of take that role of trying to take the team on his back and trying to further that team play?
Muskie is really good at creating good situations and things for his team, or he will like just score a solo goal out of nowhere, and that's something that the team might need because these guys play together more often. They play around each other. I think that's the biggest difference between the Martinis and the Mojitos. The Mojitos don't really play together except for this tournament, so that means that their synergy and their isn't that high as I would say for Martinis.
Well, that was definitely clear on the field as well. We saw how well the Martini side was able to work together, and even though they had a rough game from time to time against Mojitos, because I think we can all agree that if we're talking pure mechanics and how they can use them, that the Mojitos definitely outscale the Martini side in that regard. But that team play, that team cohesion was definitely what kept them together. And if you were to say what team would make a better chance in the ERC, because of course last year you also participated, you did bring fair play, I think, to the 4th or 2nd place.
Third place.
Third.
Shared third.
Close enough. But what team do you think of the two has the biggest potential to rival your performance from last year?
I think that it's more stacked every year. So, and I would say we were quite lucky with how far we've gotten. We didn't even expect to get that far. So, if one of these teams rival our like finish, I would say that's insane in the first place and very, very probably unexpected. But if they would, I think I have to give it to Martini because I think they're more driven and they practice more together. And eventually, team cohesion is something that will beat other college teams because you can be a very, very mechanical player. But if you guys don't rotate according to each other, it doesn't matter because you're literally playing a player down.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Well, FaZe, you are of course the manager. You oversee everything for the teams. So now we know what you think has the best team synergy from the start because they work more together. Do you still see the possibility that, like, let's say if Fair Play Mojitos was to play as frequently together as the Martini side, that they would be able to rise above the level of the Martinez? Do they think that it's right now too late with the ERC coming up very soon, that they would probably stay at the level that they are, very close to the level of Martini, but just not there yet?
I think they could, but that means that they have to sacrifice for each other. We've seen that Flux is a very, very good offensive player and can score incredible goals, but defensively he's a little bit less strong. And then Input is more of like a rock that will get good 50s and will get, like, if he has a clear beat, he sometimes chooses to do a 50 because he likes it more. And if they would want to grow together, if they want to get better together, they will have to sacrifice certain things for each other. And I don't know if they want that because depending on what they want to achieve in Rocket League, it depends on if they want to sacrifice certain things or if their playstyle for each other for a college league tournament.
I mean, that's all fair points, but FaZe, I think we got into the end of the interview. Is there something else that you want to say to everyone out there? Of how proud you are, of course, of your boys at Fair Play. They did splendidly to end top 2 to both qualify for the ERC. But is there something special that you still want to give maybe to everybody at home or to them listening in the chat?
I am very, very proud of the boys for getting first and second, and we hoped that it was a possibility, but we didn't think it could happen with like strong teams like Twente and Erasmus around. But during the match, I was just chilling with the admins of the tournament and watching Erasmus versus Mojitos. And every single admin was like, no, we want Erasmus to win. We can't have two Groningen teams taking it all. And by God, we did take it all. So proving them wrong is just the best feeling ever. Sitting in a call with them and then that the team's winning, it's like the most beautiful thing.
Oh, yes. For sure. For sure, but yeah, that then we'll conclude the rest of this interview. Thank you very much, FaZe, for hopping in here and having the time to talk to us as well. Because, well, if you don't already have time for coaching, which, oh, that is one thing. Are you going to be popping back in now, coaching a little bit more?
the South American team that I coach that has the South American major coming up just messaged me that their scrim started like 10 minutes ago and they'll be scrimming for like 2 hours straight. So I'll be hopping in with them
Yeah.
very shortly.
Fair enough.
Well-
fair enough.
We wish you good luck with, of course, the scrims. Go give them maybe that little bit of a boost they need in order to get juiced up for that major and take it all the way. We know that, of course, your abilities as a coach are amazing. And apparently as a manager to put good teams together as well, because we saw it tonight. So thank you very much, FaZe, for joining us. Thank you, everybody at home, for being here on the stream. It was, of course, amazing to see the adventure that we saw tonight. And as FaZe said it the best, prove all the admins wrong that Erasmus was not going to be in the top 2, because it is fair play all the way. I've been Starfield, joined by Hyperia. On the buttons we had Fishy, and honestly, it was an amazing night of Rocket League.
We gon' burn it down. Burn it down. We gon' burn it down. Burn it down. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder.
I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker.